We are back. People, we are back.
What's it been like? We took last weekend off. And we're back. Been a crazy week or so at this point. There's a lot of stuff going on. Hope everybody had a good week and last weekend and prior week. We haven't talked in, 2 weeks now, I guess? The way that Jeremy Renner says, "Hello, boys," is so sinister. Who is he, Thawne? Are we talking about Tag? Yeah. Yes, it was. What's up, oh yikes? Hope you've been well, Omni. Have you gotten around to watching any of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Severance yet? Can't wait to hear your thoughts. I got one more episode of Dark to watch, which will be this week, and then I'll be starting up both of those in the following days. So I'll probably be watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Severance either this week or the start of next week. I need to figure out the release schedule yet. I'm thinking about, because it was a comment that came up on Patreon the other day. That was like, you plan on putting up ever any little schedules on what days certain things or upcoming things you're going to be doing are going to be coming out? I usually don't plan ahead all that well. A lot of the things I do outside of the stuff we're normally covering, or the big stuff, is usually just off the wall, or I forget about stuff. But I might put something out here soon about that. But I'm trying to decide, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm just gonna have it take the dark slot and release those on Fridays. Severance, though, I'm not sure what day I want to put that out on. I'm not too sure yet, what would work best. So I'm just gonna play that by ear. But either way, they'll both be coming in about the next week or two. Both will be out next week, I'll say. Not this coming week, but the week after next. Because next Friday will still be the Dark series finale. Aloha and happy Saturday. Hope everyone's having a good time. I will echo that sentiment. Thank you, Summer. How was the convention? Oh, it was cool. It was Sunday. It was the last day. That was the only day I went. Saturday was driving up. I had to get a couple things done Saturday morning for the channel before I could leave. It was a 5.5 hour drive to the convention. By that point, I was like, I'm not paying $100 to just go in for the final 5 hours of it. And we just kind of cruised Riley, went to the mall for a little bit. Plus, we were exhausted. I barely got much sleep that night to begin with. And we went to the Crabtree Mall, hung out there for a little while, because my mall down here is basically, there's some stores, but it is basically, for all intents and purposes, dead as shit. So it was nice being to one in a place that actually has a thriving ecosystem, whole bunch of stuff going on. They only had maybe one or two storefronts that weren't filled in. So that was kind of refreshing in a way. It also just makes me more sad about coming home to our mall, because there's just really, aside from the Hot Topic, no real reason to go there, because there's a GameStop right up the road, and everything else is just nothing. Yeah, the Pandy really ruined our mall. It was struggling beforehand, but it basically killed it for the most part. I don't know how it's still operational at this point. And considering that mall was huge. But I'll be going to the largest mall in the country next month. So that's exciting. The Mall of America for a convention. That's going to be wild. That's going to be a change of pace. That place has a freaking roller coaster in it. So yeah. But aside from that, trip was fine. The convention portion where we spent Sunday there, we were there from open to almost finished, close enough to finish, because we still had I only booked a hotel for a single night, because I was only planning on spending the day there on Sunday, because that was the only day both Grant and Steven were going to both be there. So dude, I slept for like 2.5 hours and could not go back to sleep. I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning, could not go back to sleep, and I powered through the day somehow. Stayed up all night into the morning, had breakfast, went to the convention, and we were there until like 5 or 6, and then started heading home, and that took another 5.5 hours. We didn't get home until like 10:40 p.m. And I think I went to bed around 12 or 12:30 midnight. So I was almost awake for 22 hours while driving 5 of those hours and spending like 6 hours at that convention. It was a hard day. On top of that, that was probably the most physical pain I've been in a long time, because Grant Gustin's line was huge. I think I was in that line for like 4 hours to get an autograph, but man, Steven took 30 minutes to get through his line, because he had been there, I think, the whole weekend, and they didn't advertise his booth. The website didn't even have him listed as having that as an option, so that probably helped. But yeah, that was it was my feet, my back, my legs, my head, everything was in so much pain. It was nuts. Weirdly enough, the next day, didn't feel anything though. What's up, Renan? How are you doing? What's up, Jack? But I had a good time. I spent a lot of money on vendor merch and stuff like that too while we were there, because there was a lot of really cool things I saw. There's a couple of wall scroll, like Arrowverse wall scrolls I got that I haven't posted anything up because I want to frame them first. But yeah, aside from that, it was pretty wild. Got this mug and a couple of others. I posted about that on Instagram the other day. Yeah. What's up, good vibes? Hope you're doing good, bro. I'm doing pretty good today. It's a pretty chill day. I slept in a little bit and did put out my Bleach video a little late because I was just too tired to do it when the episode dropped. So I slept in for 2 hours. Still only 7 hours of sleep, but still better than 2. What's up, Abi? Please consider the originals at least for a poll option next time. I thought it was. I'm pretty sure it was on there. I'm pretty sure the originals was on there. Because it's not a, I didn't pick anything that was on there. Those were all suggestions from you all that I added to the list. Yeah, it was on there. It was number 91 on the list. So yeah, for sure. It just gotta beat that poll. FYI, Adam just defeated Bahamut in FF16. He's catching up to you. No! He still hasn't battled the S-tier dragon though. Upside, he's pretty much mastered block. I've barely ever used it. That's cool though. I need to start doing some stuff with that. I made a little more progress. I put up a video yesterday. I have half of one right now, but I had to cut it short because I was recording it while I was technically on shift for work, and I had to pause it for a little while, and I haven't gone back to it. So I'm gonna be doing more of that later tonight and adding on to it. So yeah, damn man, he's catching up. I gotta keep going. I'm like level 42 now. I just fought Spielnir. I don't know if that's, I can't remember if that's how you say his name. I just got my ass handed to me by Barnabas for the first time. After encountering him and Jill's MIA. That was the last thing I did outside of a couple more hunts and stuff. So yeah. More of that'll be coming. Dark finale next week. I can't wait. I'm kind of sad to see it go because the show's been insanely good. It's been so much fun to watch. It's been one of my favorite shows I've seen in a long time. It's really, really, as far as the writing goes, it's top tier, man. It's really, really freaking good. And if anybody's not watched that show, they need to watch that show. Love the original. Hell yeah. Watched Indy 4 for the first time. I know I'll get hate for it, but I think it's my favorite. Love the action. Shia was good, like the villains, plus the jungle chase is probably my favorite set piece in these movies. Hey, everybody's gonna love something, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it, though. Glad you enjoyed it. What's up, D? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. You stayed up for this stream? Where are you from? How late is it for you right now? If you need sleep, get some sleep. I'm a man who understands the need for sleep. Confession. I watch a ton of Dead Mall YouTube documentary videos and Old Vice's abandoned videos. It's fascinating to watch capitalism devour itself. Yes, it's kind of sad, though. Though, vacant malls are also kind of intriguing in a very interesting kind of way. Might have to check out some of those. My feet, my back, starting to sound your age, friend. Oh my god. Well, I think a lot of it just had to do with standing still. Like, we didn't move for 2 hours and at one point. Like, we were just stationary for 2 hours standing because the line just wasn't moving. And I think it was poor organization on the cons part because they had to create a gap to allow for normal traffic to go into the artist quarry, like into the vendor section. But then people wouldn't know that you were in that same line that was on the other side of the gap, so people would fill in line behind that, and they weren't good at keeping track of that. And then, you know, we had to vacate to go to the photo ops and then wait for him to come back. So I had to get out of line, then get back out of line. So technically I was in the line a total of 4 hours, but 2 hours each, 2 separate times. But thankfully, I had a duo partner with me, and she held my place while I went and got an auto from Steven, and then came back to my spot. So always go to these things with a partner. It makes things a little bit easier. Otherwise, that would have been way worse. What's up, Mercenary? What's up, Adit? Doing good. Got to see Gran Turismo at an early mystery screening. As someone who isn't into racing or racing games, I had a great time. Good acting, well-handled racing scenes, just a solid underdog story. I really want to see it. I've played a grand total of maybe 5 minutes of Gran Turismo because it's not my kind of racing game. I'm more of a Need for Speed kind of guy. But the trailers for it had me really, really excited. They always get me quite moved. So, I don't know. It's more so than I expected. And David Harbour's in it, so it's already got a little bit of a win. But I'm looking forward to it. I definitely want to see it. If you're doing well, what's up, Ghostblade? I'm doing pretty good today. Do you think we'll get a tease for Lex in My Adventures with Superman finale? It's possible, but I am willing to bet we may have already seen him. Or at least his son. Yeah, I saw your post yesterday watching while I was at work on my phone with customer service and IT, and I'm having a blast with it. Hell yeah. Glad you're enjoying it. Also, I have a wide left Loki Season 2 theory regarding Loki's Marty McFly situation. I think the scientist Kang is going to be who saves him, and as a temporary solution, Mobius gives him the reality and the time stone since they are briefly shown in Season 1. It's a possibility. That's interesting. We'll see how things play out. Favorite fighting opponent in the Rocky franchise? I mean, technically, I would probably go with Apollo, but I would have to go with Victor Drago, I think, is my favorite opponent. What's up, Christian? Hope you're doing well. Did you see Stephen Amell is getting lambasted on social media for having an opinion about the SAG strike that wasn't popular? Yeah, and I get it. like, I understand why people are upset, but I also understand where he's coming from on it. But as we know, not everybody voted to proceed with the strike, so it's fine. Like, I'm not upset about it. My biggest hang up with it was like, yeah, I got to meet Steven and Grant. And literally the next day, social media was like just dogpiling his ass. So I was like, and I just put my hand down. I was like, I met Grant. Oh God. But yeah, I get where he's coming from, even though he's, I don't know. Like, I get it at the same time, but I also definitely understand what he's doing isn't okay for those in his field as well. Like, I understand the frustrations all around, and I think he's just bad at public speaking, or that's the reason why he's got a Sincerely shirt. When you say the wrong thing, when you use the wrong word, but you mean it so like sincerely that generally it just goes through, man. You just say the wrong things with sincerity. And I think that's what happens. And I mean, you guys catch me doing all that time. You catch people all the time, but like when you're a star, when you're in a position like that, and it's obviously not the popular opinion, people are gonna jump on you about it, regardless of your intent or meaning. I use the wrong word for the complete opposite of what I mean all the time. I think a lot of us do, but it's a different situation when you're publicly speaking like that. But yeah, then he did double down about it. It's whatever. I don't care. Like, obviously, you know where I stand on it, like, for what they're doing, what their approach and all of that. I understand what he means, but in the long term, I mean, he didn't offer any additional solutions or different options. It's just like, I don't know. It is what it is. It's whatever. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. But yeah. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion on it. So people are just, whatever. It is what it is. Watching Secret Invasion feels like Marvel watched a bunch of spy-related media, got their aesthetic and looks down, but didn't get any of the story or character beats that endears the audience to those media. Yeah, I can agree with that. Tonight will be my 6th time seeing Barbie. God damn. I've still only seen it the one time, but I have been listening to the soundtrack non-stop, man. You can see why we wanted you to react to Dark, and I'm glad that you've had so much fun with it. Yeah, between you guys and then a buddy of mine from my D&D table really pushing it for a long time, I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. I want to check it out, so let's do it. Did not regret it. What's up, Fluxbucks? Just wondering if you're going to live discussion after you finish Dark. I mean, I'll do like something like this, but specifically for Dark, I don't know. Not sure. Because I also don't want to spoil it for anybody that wants to hang out either and hasn't watched the show. So, because man, that show, you have to go blind. Which particular TMNT films have you seen so far, and which one you say is your favorite? Oh, my favorite is still, hands down, the 1990 live-action film. Like, it's still untouched for me. The only one I haven't seen is The Rise of the Turtles, or whatever that one is. I forget the title of that. One of the more recent ones. I know they had a show and they had a movie for the show. I haven't seen that film. Because it was tied to the show, so I didn't think I could watch it, because I never watched the show. But yeah, it's definitely the original 1990 film. I don't think anything else has come real close to it. It's not that it's not a popular opinion. What Steven said is legit dismissive, prioritizing money and self and gaslighting. As explanation didn't clarify anything, and many actors and users are upset. I mean, I disagree with gaslighting. And also, I mean, he clarified his stance wholly, like what he meant, and I understood what he was saying, but yes, it is still not popular among his peers, or the many, but he's still allowed to have his opinion. I think I've seen a lot of people, I think, just want reasons to not like him. Like, there's some really weird, obsessive rabbit holes people are going just because of certain opinions he's had over the years. But I mean, that's the internet. Are you going to see The Last Voyage of the Demeter this week? Trailers look so good. A first location, a one location vamp movie that seems like it's going to do Dracula justice and make him a threatening beast. I want to see it. On Inside of You, David Desmalchin really hyped up that movie, and ever since then, I was like, that podcast was his episode was months ago. It was a long time ago, I feel like, at this point. But I've been really looking forward to this film. I can't wait to see it. I hope it's good. David Harbour is great in Gran Turismo. I've yet to see a bad performance from David Harbour. You know? For me, Secret Invasion easily the worst Marvel show. It takes itself so seriously that it does the worst thing that no TV show should ever do, make it feel like a waste of time. I don't know that I feel like it was a waste of time. I just feel like it didn't come to a very satisfactory conclusion. Or it just didn't spend enough time with some of the elements that I was more interested in. Like, it definitely, like many of these shows, felt like there were cut plot lines completely that would have added a lot of context to what was going on. That was the thing that stuck with me the most. Just came home from watching Oppenheimer in IMAX. Such a complex and amazing movie. Kind of shame Edward in the movie. Teller was such a traitor as a fellow Hungarian. I didn't think he was he the traitor? I didn't think it was him. I don't think it was Teller that was the traitor. I don't remember. I have to remember. I could have swore it was another guy. They just disagreed and he made the H-bomb. Like, he still worked for them. I don't think he was the one that sold any of the secrets. It was quite, I'm pretty sure it was a wholly different person, if I remember right. Loki Season 2 trailer broke Disney Plus trailer first day records. Goes to show that despite some being burnt out with the MCU, everyone is still hyped for Loki. Yeah, man, I don't know. It looks good. I mean, Loki is the one of the shows that did not let me down even in the slightest, so I'm definitely looking forward to them continuing it. Do you think that the Lex and Harley Quinn series will ever recover from a severe ego bruise that he took in the recent episode? I wouldn't be surprised if he lambasts himself into becoming the antagonist of the season after that massive ass brutal beating of his ego. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely going to be some sort of retaliation. I don't know. We'll see. I don't imagine he'll go off, tail between his legs, down and after all of that. Mr. Sunday Movie said it best. Marvel should make every movie and TV show have end of world stakes, as an audience can only care for it so much before they just don't care about the plot. Yeah. I think this story, more than the others, it should have been, but I think we are very burnt out on that, for sure. I would much prefer something to be grounded and personal rather than world-ending. Will Batman get out of prison by the end of Harley Quinn season finale? Probably not. I don't think I was here when you talked about meeting them, or how your talk with Grant and Steven. I know it was pretty short because those lines, but nonetheless. I mean, yeah, there wasn't real time to talk, to say a whole lot. I just used the time I had to thank them for the roles and for what the characters they played, did for us, the community, and all that. Now, regardless of, the people behind the mask, it's really the characters and the work and time that they put into bringing those characters to life that I cherish the most. Grant, though, the con and both his security both had to kind of intervene because Grant was spending a lot of time carrying a conversation with the people in the line and even doing things he's not supposed to do. that was making his line move slower. So I think, Grant was going above and beyond to try to be, there for everybody else. But I didn't want to be that fan to ask him any probing questions or hold him up or bait him into anything like that. So I just walked up, got my thing signed, thanked him for all the great episodes and, being my Flash and all that. That's pretty much the end of it. So yeah. Would have loved to talk to them both more, though, if I had the opportunity. With all the conventions going on, with the summer vacation ramping up, final trips before school starts this coming week, COVID numbers are up. Hope everyone stays safe out there. Yeah, so surprisingly, this is the biggest convention I've ever been to, and I didn't even convince the typical, con crud. Like, there's always, convention crud, like a cold or whatever you get just being around that many people. And like you just said, I went to a real small one last year, and I feel like my nose still has not recovered from that. Like, my sinuses haven't wholly recovered from that. And that was just a small thing. But yeah, I left this one perfectly fine, aside from my busted ass knees. Yeah, I read that Loki Season 2 broke records and it'll be a hit. But in a year where a lot of the movies and shows broke records, still did meh. Not that enthusiastic about it. It's all fair and fine and dandy. I'm looking forward to it, though, because the Loki show I thought was really strong. I've been enjoying your Mission Impossible reactions. Dude, nostalgia is insane. But also, please tell me I'm not the only one. The only one that the female lead from MI2 looks vaguely close to Zoe Saldana. No, I think they do look... They have a very similar, I think, facial structure. It looks like if you took Zoe Saldana and Kristen Crook and put them together, is kind of like how she came across to me. Yeah, man, I checked the seats at my Barbie showing tonight, and it's sold out. It's nuts. That's crazy. Have I seen Talk to Me or The Passenger? What is The Passenger? I'm going to try to see Talk to Me tomorrow night. But I have not even heard of The Passenger. I enjoyed Secret Invasion mostly. I feel like the infight after the first watch hasn't set well with me. Like, it felt jarring because the show up until that point was way more grounded fights. Yeah, I can understand that. I can definitely relate to that. It did just kind of turn into like what we're kind of used to at this point. But yeah, I still, regardless, enjoyed more in Secret Invasion than irked me. Like, at the end of the day, I still found myself enjoying a majority of the show regardless. What's up, Sketch? What's up, David? My opinion, Olivia Colman being added to the MCU is the best thing to come out of Secret Invasion. I'll second that. It almost makes me wish we got her instead of Val as the person behind the scenes, especially considering the final scene, if that led into Thunderbolts instead and we weren't setting up Val. I'm more intrigued by her character than I have been by Val, because we've got nothing about Val. Nothing touches the 90s TMNT movies. I miss the days when everything was done practical instead of CGI. I wish those days would come back. I still think there's a balance to be made, but yes, I do think there is something about the tangible suits. Those suits still hold up, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. And with the advances in technology today, you cannot tell me you couldn't do a version of those that are even better and more seamless. Like, I really think that that's the route they should go if they ever do another live action one. There's a jump on aspect to online discourse that makes everything ugly. Yup. Yep. Yeah, it's like, if you have even a remotely different opinion from the majority, and you voice it, you're about to get destroyed. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is pretty good. I've never seen the show, but the movie works pretty well standalone. There's some good animation, it's funny, and there's some cool action. I've seen like one or two action scenes from it, and it was pretty wild, the way they did the fights. But I think the thing that turned me off the most about it is like I just did not like the art direction for it. It's just the design for the turtles. That was one of the main reasons I never watched the show. But it looks really well animated. When I saw that clip, I was like, holy shit, what is this? You should for sure see The Voyage because it looks amazing. I'm still waiting for everything to come to streaming and DVD, but I want to encourage those who can go to the movies to go out. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go check that one out for sure. I've been waiting for that movie for a while, man. I just feel like Marvel should stop naming their movies and shows after major comic events. It makes people have expectations that could have something to do with the disappointment. I could kind of get behind that. I especially because this is they were like, they told the director and the writers to not even read the original comic, but they still wanted to do the same kind of idea and concept. Yeah, I kind of agree. They should try to veer away from that unless it is like an adaptation. I think Civil War is fair. I think Civil War is a fair one to use. But I think in this case, maybe Secret Invasion, maybe we could have went with something a little different. How's Florence Pugh and Oppenheimer? I mean, she's barely in it, but in the time that she's in it, she's really good. She's a very I wouldn't say background character, but she's important to Oppenheimer's character, but not so much, I'd say, to the full narrative, if that makes sense. She's got some really strong scenes. She has some memorable scenes, that's for sure. But she's not a huge part of the movie, but when she is there, she's great. It's Florence Pugh. She's not really going to disappoint, I don't think. I'll just say it, Olivia Colman is playing the character the Marvel thinks Val Fontaine is. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I always have trouble saying her name. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's a pretty good actress, but she's just fine as Val. Colman is pretty spot on. I don't put that on Julia at all, though. I put that on the way that they are using Val. More so. Naked. That is also true. She is also very naked in the movie. Teller wasn't the traitor, but he confessed against Oppenheimer in that hearing. I mean, that's fair. I mean, he was still being honest from his point of view, so I don't really hold that against him. Obviously, Oppenheimer, at least in the movie, didn't. You know, his wife didn't appreciate it, but yeah. There was truth in what he said, though. Mutant Mayhem was a blast. Might be my favorite TMNT movie overall. Like some do, certain parts better, but as a whole, it's the best in my opinion. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What's up, KN? Hope Pop-Tart is doing okay. She's doing alright. She's had a couple of fits, but no blood for a couple of weeks. Or, like, not a couple weeks, about a week and a half, so that's good. Still sneezing here and there, but, yeah, she's been pretty spry, so that's a plus. Is Grant tall? He looks like it. I mean, he's taller than me. Both of them were. If you saw the photo I got with both of them. But I don't know exactly how tall he is, but I mean, I'm 5'8", so I'm not like tall or anything, but he clears me by quite a few inches. I went to rewatch reactions to WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Most people really enjoyed Wanda's history and a lot of the finale, barring some fumbles, and Sam and Bucky working together, plus the Dora fight. Yeah, I agree with all that. WandaVision, I think I enjoyed most thoroughly. Again, I think similarly to Secret Invasion, my main issues with Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that they cut pretty much all of the things that should have made you sympathize with the Flag Smashers. Like half of the Flag Smasher storylines got cut out. That was my biggest hang up with it. Love the Turtles' personalities. Agreed. Superfly was a good villain. Really fun, great fights. Without getting into spoilers, love the parallels of two different experiences / motives of the heroes and villains. I did really like the thematic elements of it for sure, and that was one of the things that really worked, as well as the animation and the characterization was really, really strong. I loved how they characterized the turtles. Like I said, in my review, the only hang-ups I have were with the origin elements of the turtles themselves, and which by extension includes Splinter, but it is what it is. It's still not the worst we've seen. Talk to Me was so good. I'm usually desensitized with horror, but there were quite a few parts that got me to gasp out loud. That's promising. One thing I'll never do, or never let go, though, is that they did my boy Talos dirty. Yes, that is probably my biggest hang up, is I feel like they rushed that so quick with his death, man. It was just like over and done with. What the fuck was that about? And I don't know. And he was wrong in the end. He was wrong for trying. He was wrong for saving. I don't know. It just like Talos just got the short end of the stick in this whole thing. And yeah, it just took the piss out of him making that sacrifice. I wonder how long we have to wait till the final season of Stranger Things releases. I'd throw out another 2 years minimum, probably. Talk to Me was pretty good. Have a couple parts where I was just like, oh, this ain't too bad. Wait, no, spoke too soon. Well, that's a little less promising. But we'll see. Love the 90s movies. They happened when I was really into the Turtles, but there's a special place in my heart for TMNT and the aughts. They were crossbred with frogs, but the story was good. I do like the early aughts Turtle series. I didn't watch all of it. I watched a little bit, a fair amount, and played some of the games. And then obviously there was that crossover movie that brought all the Turtles together, and it was their team, the original 87 team, and then the comic team, and then all the Turtles throughout the multiverse. That was great. I do like those Turtles, so I haven't got too far into it. Man, I'm still sad about what happened to the Airverse. Yes, it wasn't the most expensive in A-list filled superhero universe, yet what they accomplished is still amazing. Some definitive portrayals. Agreed. Good night. Good night, ID. Thanks for stopping in. I'm still upset that they canceled Stargirl. Yeah, me too. It could have easily carried over if they wanted it to. Well, nah, they did really lore dive in on like the JSA. It would need a whole reworking if they wanted to go blend it all together. But I do wish that maybe it would have continued on where what they were going to do sounded pretty cool. How's Florence Pugh in Oppenheimer? I think the better question is, how was Oppenheimer in Florence Pugh? Ahaha! I made a funny! Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I mean, we haven't seen much of Val. I'm sure she'll change her minds when we start seeing more of her. I hope so. But in less time, I think Olivia Colman made a bigger impression. Oppenheimer was a historical drama, so whoever they cast is to portray actors that had more or less a role in the historical occurrences. Yep. But yeah, Florence Pugh is awesome. Agreed. Just want to say I finished watching your Stranger Things reactions. They were really good. Well, thank you, Lauren. I'm glad you enjoyed them. There's a lot to go through as well. How do I feel about the X-Files reboot? It still has not been confirmed to be a reboot. A lot of people were throwing that term around, and that is not what Chris Carter said. A lot of the trades have been calling it a reboot as well, and we've got no update on it since that podcast interview with Chris Carter. So we don't know if it's a reboot. All we know is it's a relaunch, which the Revival series is a relaunch. So it could be a spinoff, it could be a continuation, it could be its own thing, it could be a reboot. We don't know. We do not really know what it is. But depending on what it ends up being, I will then formulate my opinion. Ryan Coogler, I love a lot of his work, so I'm putting some faith on him to handle my favorite TV show property and run with it. But we'll see what we do. We'll see what they do. Have I seen Blue Beetle? No, it's not out yet. I have not seen it. I have not seen it yet. But I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm really hyped up for Blue Beetle. I want it to be good so bad. When I said this ain't too bad, wait, I spoke too soon. So when I was talking about me, I wasn't saying the movie was bad. I was meaning it was more brutal than I was expecting at a few parts. Oh, okay. And there we have it, guys. I've already caught up to the chat, man. Where you guys at? Where you guys at? let's see. I started Parks and Rec last week. Almost done with season 2. It's pretty good. Giving me the Office vibes in a way, but they're not a copy in a way. Not in a copy kind of way. I think I read that right. Giving me the Office vibes in a good way, though not in a copy way. Yeah, I was just reading it wrong. I've only seen a single episode of The Office. I haven't seen a single episode of Parks and Rec that I can recall before. But I've always heard really good things about them. The one time I did see an episode of The Office, it was just because it was the only thing on TV when I was staying at a hotel and I just needed something on in the background. I didn't really pay attention to it. I have some friends that were really into it, and they would echo some lines, quote some lines, and rebuttals and little moments from it. But that was about it. Same. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks like it was. It's going to be refreshingly good. I'm hoping so. I need some horror that really kind of lifts the spirits in a way. It does something nice and interesting. What's up, Funky Roses? How you doing? Fluxbucks is here. Hell yeah. Playing chess. Are you winning? Are you winning, son? What's your opinion on my adventures with Superman? Have you been watching my reactions? If you watch my reactions, you would know my opinions. I'm having a damn good time with the show, man. Between that and Superman Lois, we were getting some primo fucking Superman content. Wait, Blue Beetle is out? I thought it wasn't out for another week or two. As far as I know, it's like still 2 weeks out. Are there any good shows to watch right now? My Adventures with Superman is a good one. Dark, if you have not seen it, I highly suggest. What else is going on right now? Harley Quinn, having a good time with that. I mean, that's actively going on at the moment. I mean, there's not a lot going on. As far as like current shows that I'm watching, it's mostly Bleach, My Adventures with Superman, and Harley Quinn at the moment, until Ahsoka comes out. Just been watching Dark, the ones I just mentioned. You know, we just finished Secret Invasion, which is hit or miss for a lot of people. I will always recommend the X-Files to no end. But I'm sure everybody else can throw in some suggestions. Parks and Rec only gets better after season 1. Oops, forgot to actually click on it. There we go. So wild seeing Chris Pratt in a sitcom. Like, I always knew him as Star-Lord for years and some other stuff, then seeing him on this feels like a nice, fun treat. Isn't that like where he kind of got his rise? I don't know that I was aware of Chris Pratt prior to that show. That I can think of, at least. But it was Guardians that really plopped him into stardom, as far as I'm aware. What's up, Ragu? How are you doing? Hope you're well. I'm doing quite well today. What's up, Janine? UK, new subscriber. Hell yeah, welcome. Just catching up on your previous videos. I'm a Doctor Who and Star Wars kind of gal, so looking forward to watching other stuff I don't normally watch. Hell yeah. Dude, I cannot wait for the 60th anniversary. Dude, everything I see about it and Series 14 has my blood pumping. And yes, Ahsoka we got coming out. Ray Stevenson's final live-action performance. Rest in peace. Yeah, man, we got some stuff coming up. But we got a little bit of a break and a little bit of reprieve I'm going to try to take advantage of at the moment. But welcome. We got quite the backlog for you. And if you want to watch along at all, there's always Patreon. Which was having some issues here over the past day or so. But, you know. What's up, Aspire? You know what else isn't out? Doom Patrol Season 4 Part 2! And I'm over HBO Max. Dude, I don't know. When are we going to get the fucking final 6 episodes of that show, man? If it's ending, can we just have the ending? Why are they holding off on it for so long? They still don't even have a date. James Gunn had to be rallied by social media just to get them to admit they're still releasing it. Hell, the stars of the show thought they were going to shelve the thing when it was already finished. Miss DC Titans. I'm glad someone does. It's never been one of my highest rated shows out of the DC pantheon, but I'm glad some people still enjoyed it through and through. Like I said, I warmed up on seasons 3 and 4, but I don't know if I could ever say that I missed the show. I don't know if I'll ever be on that train. Though that Beast Boy episode is still one of my favorite DC TV moments. No, I haven't. This is my first time being here. Well, go check out my reactions to My Adventures with Superman. Give it a go. I've got all 6 episodes up right now as we speak. Have I seen the Expendables movies? If so, are they worth a watch? I've seen the first 3. I think there's a 4th one coming out. I saw the trailer for it. I did not post a reaction for it because it looked fucking awful. To me. They're okay. I thought the first and second were pretty fun. They are just testosterone cheese. That's the kind of pizza you're getting. That's the kind of pizza you're getting when in there. It's testosterone and cheese. And there's not really a whole much else than that in there. And it's a dumb fun time, for sure. And it is a treat. It's like the Avengers of action movie stars coming together and making a movie. So it's got a lot of a draw to it. But yeah, they're definitely enjoyable flicks. But they're definitely turning your brain off and just kind of enjoy the awesome and the explosions and the beefy muscle men. Is there any release date for the Doctor Who specials yet? Exact dates? Yes, actually, I think we got a date announcement trailer that I reacted to, if I remember right. Hold on. I could have swore we did. Maybe not. I mean, they're all coming out in November this year. I could have swore that we got a video detailing the dates for each one. They haven't updated the wiki for it. I could have swore we got dates. No, it just says sometime in November. Man, what am I thinking of? I could have swore there were dates. I know we got the titles, but I thought we also got the dates. I have mixed opinions on Superman having the blue powers his son had in the comics. Well, I mean, if you go back to like the 80s, Superman had electricity powers and he did glow blue for a while when he was separated into 2 entities, Red Superman and Blue Superman. The John Kent stuff going on right now is more akin to what was going on back in the 80s with Clark. And I think this is kind of what that's alluding to. It is very similar, but it's also, you got to think of it too as this. It's doing this very anime thing that it's tapping into with all the aesthetics and the themes. So I don't know if they're definitely drawing intentionally from the Jonathan Kent stuff. It's a combination of a couple different things, but Superman himself, Clark, has also had these sort of things happen in the past. But yeah, I'm just curious about what they're doing, because there's something different about his powers in this universe that we haven't seen before. Have I seen Sweet Tooth? I've seen the first episode of Sweet Tooth season 1, and that's it. And that's just because I watched the first episode and it's like, oh, this was interesting. This was nice, but I wasn't like, it didn't hook me, so I didn't continue it. I feel like every TV show that I watch is coming to an end. Yeah. It's always hard when that shit happens, man, especially when it's done in such a consecutive manner. Doctor Who, Dark, The Originals, Magicians, The Wire. The Wire is a show I need to watch one of these days. I had a friend of mine give me the entire season. Not on DVD, but in a different manner. And I still never took the time to actually watch it. I need to watch that eventually. Yeah, Florence is such a fantastic actress. I loved her in Midsummer, Little Women, Black Widow. Didn't like Don't Worry Darling, but she was still fantastic in that. Yeah, the movie was not that great. Don't Worry Darling, I have a reaction up if anybody wants to check that out. The movie wasn't great, but she was still great. I don't think I've seen her ever give a bad performance. And the first thing I ever saw her in was Midsummer, and that is one of my favorite horror movies in recent days. I think Little Women just got thrown up onto this month's poll as a suggestion, so maybe that might win. Maybe I'll actually check that one out. One day, we need to get Omni to post the 10 reasons you need to watch the X-Files video. You just need one reason. It's the X-Files. Watch it. I've already seen Meg 2. How'd you enjoy that? I've seen the general reception is mixed isn't even the right word for it right now. It's just pretty one-sided. I haven't seen the first one though. I recommend Ted Lasso and Barry. I really want to watch Barry. Barry is one I definitely want to watch one of these days. Eric, thank you with the super chat, man. Started 48 minutes ago. Where have I been? How is everyone today? The girl I've been talking to and I just became official, so there may be a little extra celebration with the drinks tonight. Well, congrats on that, man. Hell yeah. Getting the girl. But I've been good. Where you been? 48 minutes late? That's where you've been. But I've been doing good today. It's been a short day so far. I woke up at 12:30, recorded my reaction to Bleach, edited my reaction to Bleach, posted my reaction to Bleach, and then had about 30 minutes left over before the stream. That's been my day so far. Might go out to eat later tonight just to kind of get out of the house for a little bit. But other than that, doing pretty good. But thank you so much for the super chat, Eric. You definitely save some of that money for a date, man. Splurge on your girl. I'm not gonna say no to it, but you know, don't need making her jealous already. Let's see. Hey Omni, how's Joseph Morgan's performance in Titans? Did I like him? His performance is great. The character writing is a little messy. In the first half of the season, I really liked what they were doing with his character. I don't think his performance ever faltered. I don't think he was ever an issue in the show. But in the second half of the season, his writing got real lazy. But he did everything he could with the role to sell those scenes. He acted his ass off. Awesome. Cool. Dune is going to be interesting whenever it's out. Yeah, I can't wait for Dune Part 2, man. I really, really want to see it. There's this movie that Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence was in, but I forgot what it's called. But all I know is that it took place in space. Huh. I remember them being in a movie together, but I don't remember what the movie was. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, is it Passengers? Is that it? I remember liking it. Huh. Interesting. November 23rd for Doctor Who, since it's the anniversary. Yeah, but that's the actual anniversary day. But I don't know that they're going to put out all 3 specials on the same day, though. It's called The Passengers. It's title reveals, Omni. Okay, maybe I'm just misremembering. I just thought we had the titles. Did you hear about Mark Margolis? I did. If anybody's got a bell, which I do not, ding it in memoriam. I don't know if this is respectful or not, but that's what comes to my brain every time I just see an image of the guy, unfortunately, because of Breaking Bad. But yeah, I saw that, man, and he was so good in that and Better Call Saul. And I've seen him in other stuff too. I can't specifically think of them off the top of my head, but yeah, that was some sad news. Shared that on I guess I'll call it X. I shared it on X like a few days ago, or whenever it would have happened. When was that? Was that yesterday or the day before? My days get just blurred together anymore. Are we ever going to get another Blair Witch movie? Outside of that last one that came out like 2, 3, 4 years ago, whatever it was? I don't know. Maybe. It's a possibility for sure. And guys, if you're here, if you're having fun, if you're enjoying the time, leave a like. It helps the video out. I would definitely... Well, the only one I've mildly enjoyed was the first. Like, that new one wasn't terrible. It was just it just had some goofy element to it. It was better than the Blair Witch 2, though. What was it, Book of the Witch, or what was that one called? I forget what it was called. Whatever the second movie was called. I thought the follow-up, the reboot, remake, prequel, whatever you want to call it, was a little bit better than that. But I definitely think it's time for another one, maybe. Possibly, if they do a good one. Do you have a mod on this stream? Don't know why my comments are not showing up. I do, but, I mean, they're not online at the moment. None of my mods are active right now. Sometimes YouTube just eats the chat, because even if there's not a mod in the chat, it would still show me if a message was deleted over here on the main chat. And even if it was deleted, it would still show up on StreamYard, which is how I'm posting the comments to the screen. So sometimes, and it hasn't only happened to you, but we've had many people in the chat and in the community try to post certain things, and they just disappear for some unknown reason, and I don't know why. Because even if it got flagged by the auto mod thing, I would see it over here to approve it myself. But that hasn't happened at all this stream yet. So I can't say for certain what's going on there. Awesome, that makes sense, because Superman's power arsenal was just being set up. Ooh. There you go. I'm scratching on my door. Yeah, it was a weird 80s era. I'm pretty sure it was in the 80s whenever that happened. Something happened, I don't remember the exact details of it, but something happened and it caused him to split into two entities. And I think one was red, one was blue. One had like lightning powers, and then one had, I think, solar powers or some bullshit. I don't remember exactly. I've been keeping with the whole, I don't know how to say his name. Wold Parks, and him on the picket lines for SAG, and he was there with the actress who played Pia last season, amongst others. Well, that's cool. I saw from Mark Guggenheim that they're doing a Arrow reunion picket grouping thing. So I'm curious to see who all shows up for that. Have I heard the rumors on Matt Smith as Reed Richards? I have, and I would not be against that casting, to be honest. I would be but as I mentioned on Twitter, now X, if he gets the role, I will only refer to Reed Richards with his title in name. So either Dr. Richards or Dr. Reed Richards, if I ever refer to that character. Or I'll just call him the Doctor, because he's Dr. Reed Richards. So I might become mildly annoying for that. Was the Chucky TV show renewed for season 3? Yes. It shut because of the strikes and everything. It was already filming and they had to shut down. So filming was paused. I think they were almost finished with the season before filming had to stop for it. But season 3's been renewed and it's already mostly been shot, to my understanding. Florence Pugh and bad movies don't make sense. Now another masterclass on Dune 2. Yes, yes, yes. Twisted Metal was released on Peacock with Anthony Mackie. I don't have that streaming service, but I heard it was fun after a slow start. I've been hearing more people say good things about the show, though they did say it's got an egregious lack of car action, which is the entire purpose and premise of the games. So people are likening it to the lack of Infected in The Last of Us show. But they say it's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of it's real funny. But the trailers, man, they didn't even get a mild chuckle out of me. It just made me wince and just groan. So I don't know. I've heard some people vehemently not like it, but who knows? After the trailers, I was definitely not sold on it at all. As somebody who has played all of the Twisted Metal games, I was not sold on it whatsoever. So, I don't know. That's still a wait and see for me. Christopher Lee did say that some movies will suck, but it's important that the actor does a good job. So if Florence can perform in an okay movie, she's good. Hell yes. That is some great stuff. And that's a great point to come from Christopher Lee. You can't always guarantee that the movie is going to be well received or well executed in the end. All you can control as an actor in the moment is your performance. Because I've seen some really good performances in some really bad movies. Yeah, it wasn't. I've already seen it. Please come to Brazil. Maybe someday. That is definitely the farthest, the only country I've been to outside of the U.S. so far in my 35 years of being on this planet has been Canada. And that's really just America 2 at the end of the day. Sorry, Canadians, that may sound very offensive to some of you, but I just mean, like, culturally, when I went up there, I didn't, aside from the money and some terminology, it was basically just the same. So it wasn't like I didn't have any there's zero culture shock, except that I ran into, and this is a stereotype, and I'm sure it's not indicative in the entire country, but I didn't run into a single rude person while I was up there. But I would love to come to Brazil one day. I think that would be really cool. It's just very expensive to leave the country anymore. Did you hear anything about them making a legendary Star-Lord film? I did hear about a Star-Lord solo film or something like that, but I don't know. Nothing confirmed. Also, less than 5 minutes in, and I hear X-Files twice. This drinking game is getting out of hand. And I just gave you an obligatory age drop. Which is funny, that's X-Files I don't think had come up at all until you popped in, of all things. Maybe it's just you bring it out. Passengers, the Chris Pratt and Lawrence Pugh, fucking shit. Jennifer Lawrence film. Eric the Riz Master got the girl and gives to Omni. Truly a stand-up guy. Hope things go well for you. I second all of those. I don't know about me being a stand-up guy. I try, but I'm only human. Passengers was a rom-com from his perspective, but a horror from hers. Ooh, God, really? Sounds interesting then. I think the finale might be on the anniversary. That would make sense if that were the case. I just can't wait for it either way. So there's speculation that they're making a third Dune, and I want to see how much they dive into the trippy future of Paul Atreides' children. I don't know shit about the Dune stuff. My exposure has been from this movie so far, and the little bit that I've read, because I've been trying to make sure that I don't read past what the movie has already covered. So yeah, the movie is my only exposure to all of this so far. I don't think it was a rom-com either way. More of a rom-drum. But oh yeah, for sure horror for her. So I wish I could find that special someone one day, man. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. That's all I gotta say. Life might suck, but keep pushing forward. Come stronger. I just got the complete Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who collection on DVD. Gonna watch it through the entire series again before November. Wish me luck. That, you got quite the undertaking to go right there, man. But all the best for you. If you have Apple TV Plus, give Hijack a try. Just 7 episodes and stars Idris Elba. You'll probably end up binging it though because of all the cliffhanger episodes. I haven't heard of that one. I haven't heard of Hijack. I'll have to look into it. Book of Shadows was... That's it. I knew it was Book of something. Was Blair Witch 2. Yeah, I didn't quite like that one. It's Morbin time. You just gotta get one of those in every stream, don't you, Sketch? Which horror movie franchise should have stopped at one film? Ooh. Whoop. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think there's a single good sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's another one I wanted to say, but it's not coming to mind. Damn it. I lost it. I don't know. I could have swore I had another one right there on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think about it. Just finished watching Modern Family, and I'm really sad it's over. What are your favorite TV comedies that don't have laugh tracks? I despise those. I've also seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Parks and Rec. Futurama? TV comedies that do not have laugh tracks. Now, my favorite of all time is Friends. It's like my second favorite TV show of all time. I think that's where it was. It was either second or third. I can't remember. Now I'm doubting myself anymore where I put it. Why did it do that? Where are you? Google Sheets. Yeah, it's still number 2. Hasn't changed. But most of the TV comedies I've watched all have laugh tracks generally, unless they're animated. Yeah, I really can't think of any. I cannot think of any that do not have laugh tracks. Did How I Met Your Mother? I'm pretty sure How I Met Your Mother also had a laugh track. I think that was the last TV comedy I ever really watched. That wasn't an animated series. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is goated. B99 is great. P&R is one of my all-time favorites. Everyone is Reed Richards. Did you know that? Yeah, that's what everybody's been doing, man. And everybody's just been memeing the shit out of it. It's like, blah, blah, is Reed Richards, blah, 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 blah. That's been just social media the past couple of days. Matt Smith is a better villain, in my opinion. House of the Dragon and Morbius, as much as people didn't like it. I agree. I don't know. I like him both. I think he can do both very well. Because he's my favorite Doctor still to this day, I would say. Or at least he is the what I believe the ideal Doctor is like in my head. Because I think some do some other things that are really interesting and draw me in better than his in some ways, but I think he is the embodiment of the idea of the Doctor in my mind. But and that's always what I see him as first. But he has played nothing but villains since then that I've seen. I've just started Faulty Towers because of Blind Wave. I love the Flying Circus, but I've never gotten around to watching Faulty Towers before. I've never even heard of this show until they started watching it, and I don't know what it is. I still have no idea what it is. Matt has more range than just being a villain. I definitely agree with that. I think Matt can do damn near anything. I just checked online. Superman Red and Blue was 98. Really? I thought it was the 80s. I thought it was farther back. Well, fuck me then. Whoops. I remember everyone complaining, but I love that story. Yeah, all I remember is people did not like that storyline. If Matt Smith does become Reed Richards, do you think he's going to Morb? No. No. Sitcoms are my comfort place. I can watch them in any mood. They can bring my mood up. And when I'm depressed, I just love getting to spend tons of time with the characters and tons of episodes. Anymore, is it weird that now, most of the time, unless I'm watching Thor Reacts, if I watch Friends now, I get sad. I laugh, but when the episode's over, I get like existentially sad. Doesn't matter which season it is either at this point. But that 70s show, like we're talking like TV comedies, my favorites of all time. Friends, that 70s show. I do enjoy How I Met Your Mother. I've seen it twice, I think, all the way through. Dude, Friends, I've seen beginning to end probably 11 plus times. I like some of the older stuff too, like the original Addams Family, like the black and white Addams Family show. I really liked growing up. Everybody Loves Raymond was one I watched a lot. I don't know how that holds up now, but I watched that a lot as a kid. I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes of Big Bang Theory, but yeah, outside of that, everything else I watched was pretty much animated, like I said. No, Family Guy, Futurama, King of the Hill is one of my favorite shows. Period. Not my top 10, but it's close. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of too many just pure TV comedies. I guess you could go Legends of Tomorrow became one. Yeah, people like him and the Man with the Golden Gun. They didn't like that man with the golden gun. What's up, Ginger? Omni and Pop Tart, how are you? I'm okay. I think she's okay. She's sleeping under my desk in her little bed that I have on my footstool. But she's doing pretty good. She's doing okay. Better than she was like 2 weeks ago. I'm surprised that I haven't heard you talk about the show Heartstopper. I haven't not. Oh, you just straight conked your head on the desk, jumping at that angle, you dum-dum. Like, there was no clearance in that plan you just executed there. People have mentioned it, and it's come up a few times, but it's like a teen drama. It's just kind of like I don't know. It just doesn't really fit the general stuff we cover on the channel is the main reason. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and maybe I'll get to it if it wins the poll one of these days. But when it was coming out and swinging earlier, like when the first season premiered, it was just it just didn't seem like something that fit with what a lot of the general stuff we covered on the channel was. But that's kind of changed, and we touch a lot of different stuff here now. We've kind of pressed mildly out of genre, but maybe one of these days. Definitely not counting it out, but not just have to see what happens. Got to ride the wave. Christopher Lee's debut as Dracula surprisingly holds up. It's a little campy, but besides that, it's very solid. Horror of Dracula, 1954. I think Lord of the Rings, was he in Lord of the Rings or Star Wars first? I honestly don't remember, but either one of those are probably the first times I've ever seen him that I can think of. If an English person called Scotland, England, Part 2, there would be carnage. Yeah. I feel like there is a distinction between Scotland and England more than there is between at least the parts of Canada along the border. Maybe America Part 2 is the wrong way to phrase that, but maybe just America's hat Upper America. I mean, that's all it is. It's all North America. The cultural differences between us and Canada are not that. There's not that huge of a gap. Other than, yeah, really not. I mean, we don't have maple syrup running through our veins, but, you know, there's that. Be good or interesting to see later. Oh, okay, good. Talking about when I was talking about how I hadn't, I don't know much about Dune outside of the Dune Part 1. Be more interesting when you see the later Dune. Hell yes. Matt is a great protagonist as the Doctor. Maybe watch that. And The Crown, where he plays Prince Philip. He's phenomenal. Have I watched The Crown on me? I have not. Definitely didn't seem like something I would be interested in. Just at the time, pretty much, just in general. At this point, par for the course, because it just seemed like, you know, real world drama stuff. So it was a little outside of my purview, though. Isn't Gillian Anderson in it? So that could be a reason to watch it one of these days. Heard the third one's going to be Dune Messiah. That's interesting. He was in The Crown? He was. Just recently watched Dune and thought it was great. It's beautiful. Dune is beautiful. What's up, Sheena? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a happy Saturday. Glad you can make it. Good vibes. Omni, are we really going to find love? Quote Hawkeye. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. Yes. Whether or not with someone else, at least with yourself. Eventually, in the end, love yourself. Matt is great in The Crown. Do we add Doctor Who to the drinking game? Do I dare? I don't know if Doctor Who is a huge thing. It's definitely a top 10er for me on like shows and stuff, but I don't know if I mention it enough to warrant it to be a drinking game rule. I don't know. Maybe a sip, if anything. What did I think of the Texas Chainsaw 2003 remake with Jessica Biel? I thought the remake was pretty solid. But when they tried to follow it up, again, I think the original story holds up, but I've not seen a very good follow-up to it, let alone prequel to it. I just don't think, I don't know, I just haven't really seen too much outside of that's been good to me. The Good Place is also good. Barry's watched that. I've seen like a scene or two, but that's about it. Just in passing. One day, maybe. New Girl. I don't know what that... I mean, obviously, I guess it's about a new girl. I was going to say, I don't know what that's about. I've heard of it. I've heard the name New Girl, but I don't really know the general premise. Hot take. Predator should have been a one-off. I don't know. I enjoy Predator 2. And Prey, I think, is the best Predator movie since the original. I really liked Prey. It's weird because then there's some franchises that I think should have stopped at 2 movies. Like Terminator, like Alien. Like, the firsts are iconic, but so are their sequels. Just the second entry. Everything after that is mixed bag. But it's a different situation there, I think. Janine here loved the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I did as well. I really enjoyed it. Good evening, Omni and chat. What's up, Ninjaro? Thank you for allowing me to pick your mind the other night after watching that last episode of Dark. Really appreciate all the work you put in with the graphs and everything like that. And, you know, anybody that wants some great little like visual references for Dark as you're going along with it, Ninjaro's got a Reddit link that I've shared on a couple of the posts and we have in the Discord that spoiler free helps keep things in track for you real well. I remember liking the Texas Chainsaw remake. Just was amazing. Do we count shows filmed in front of a live audience? If not, Cheers, Frasier are my favorite TV shows. My dad and I rewatch them all the time. And that's the thing about Friends. Like, it's not so much a laugh track. Like, they filmed all of that with an audience. So that's another thing there, too. Because Friends was always filmed with a live audience there. Obviously, there are some segments when they go off stage, like when they actually change locations or actually spend a budget to get them outside of their usual sets, where they're not. But for the most part, like 95% of Friends is in a live audience. Eventually got rid of the laugh tracks and MASH, made it more impactful and funny because it made it, I don't know, savory. See, I'm one of those people that some people would try to dunk on Friends and stuff. Or like, if the laugh track was taken out there, it wouldn't be funny. And I'm one of those people that I'm just like, dude, I think some of these jokes are funnier without the laugh tracks. I think a lot of it feels more real without the laugh tracks sometimes. Cause like, people are like, oh, they're pausing, waiting for the laugh. And I was like, dude, like, you pause in conversations. Like, everything's not just, you don't one-liner people like right off the bat all the time. So like, all of it just feels like natural conversation to me whenever they take the laugh track out. Matt is my favorite Doctor too. I think Ncuti will be amazing as well, more like him. I do kind of get that vibe. I think he's going to be a little bit of an every Doctor at this point. I don't know. Something about him just like is really just juicing with Doctor energy. I really can't wait to see what Ncuti does. The thing is, like, given the older I get, the more appreciation I have for Peter Capaldi's run. While I don't think he had some of the best stories, he had the best character development out of any of the Doctors. And he had some of the best acting out of any of the Doctors. Great moments. Even though the storylines were hit or miss, Peter Capaldi's really grown on me. Like, and for a long time, I was like, 10, David Tennant. And I still love David Tennant, but like, I struggle with juggling around those three. But no matter who is my favorite is different than who I think is the most Doctor-like Doctor. Like, and that's the thing. Like, my favorite may change depending on my mood, but I consistently land on, I think Matt is the closest to being what the purpose of his title is. I think he's the closest we've seen to what the Doctor is supposed to represent so far. If Matt Smith gets cast as Reed Richards, he will start hanging out with Nebula. Oh, that'd be cool. That would be funny. That'd be interesting. But probably not. I don't care about the F4 rumors. Just pick 4 people off the street as far as I'm concerned. But please, release Cosmic Wonder from his pain. Poor guy. Yeah. I'll join you on that one. Oops. Eric here with another super chat, man. Thank you. Take a sip if Doctor Who gets mentioned. A shot for Revan, Kingdom Hearts, or shadow dropping my page. Finally, take 2 good swigs for every X-Files mention. Ready? Go! Is that our new rules for the X-Files for the Omni Media drinking game? Let me document these updates to the rules. That's fair. Jesus. Thank you so much, man. Making me laugh. Matt Smith is a great Doctor. I initially read that as dictator. I was like, wait, did I miss something? Did you know Matt was a professional footballer and soccer player and got badly injured? His drama teacher had convinced him to take acting seriously, and look at him now, phenomenal actor. I knew he played football for a long time, but I knew it was like a hobby, a thing he did in his past, but I didn't remember he was professional. That's a cool little tidbit, though. But I knew that was why they put that scene in with the James Corbin episode, where he's hanging out with him there. I knew that's why that kind of came into play, so he could actually show off his football skills. Rick and Morty is a mix of funny and interesting. Maybe one day I will be motivated to continue some Rick and Morty, but today is not that day. Pop-Tart is sleepy and tube crazy. Yes, she is. Obsessed with those tubes. A cat. Never watched Heartstopper, but if you want a reason, it's based on a comic, like a thing on the channel. I did not know that. I did not know that. But given, like some things, like just because it's based on a comic doesn't mean I'll watch it. Just saying, like in the case of Sweet Tooth, because that's also based on a comic. I watched one episode and I just didn't continue it. But I've heard good things about it, so maybe I missed out. I missed out because I just the vibe of it was like didn't seem like something I was going to be into. There are literal towns for sale for the price of mansions. Think 5 mil, and you could gather a few other streamers and what would try to vote to rename your town. Omnitown's too on the nose. Omnopolis. Omniopolis. Omniopolis. Oh my god. He's Lord of the Rings and Star Wars back to back. He was good in both of them. I think that was the first time I had seen him that I can think of. Christopher Lee, that is. What's up, Pablo? Been enjoying a lot of your FF16 gameplay. Are you planning to do more? Oh yeah, I'm going to play the entire game. I've got I put up a new session yesterday. I've got half of one recorded right now. It's only like an hour and 30 minutes long. Talked about it a little bit earlier in the stream though, but I had to stop because I was recording it while I was working, technically. And I was going to go back to it later last night, but I was just too tired, and I just never got back around to it. But I'll be, you'll probably get another session tomorrow or Monday. But yeah, with Adam over at Preview catching up, I gotta get a chugging and put some more out. Dune's later books get really, really weird, like body horror, kind of weird. Yeah, I've heard some weird things. When I was trying to, I did look up some things, mostly on like the background of certain things in the movie, because the movie really didn't dive too much into some of the organizations, and I was like, I want to read about the organizations and stuff like that, and I was like, holy shit, there's some fucking weird shit in here. What the hell? So that's interesting. What's up, Sean? Welcome. Pop-Tart is taking your limelight. She's a cutie. That's why we got her. Little sickly dumbass. I love her though. Matt Smith, Olivia Colman, Jared Harris, Jonathan Price, Tobias Menzies? It's not enough. Yes, Jillian plays Margaret Thatcher and is awesome. Yes, I knew Jillian was in this. There's your other X-Files reference. I've not kept up with a lot of her filmography over the years. I know she was a mainstay in the Hannibal series, which was amazing. If you haven't seen the Hannibal TV series, it's so good. And she's in there. She's Hannibal Lecter's therapist. She's great in that. Tag was a fun movie. I enjoyed it way more than I expected myself to. What's up, handsome head injury? I enjoyed your dark reactions. You do a great job understanding the time travel shenanigans and the character motivations. I try. I went into this show knowing it was going to hurt my brain. I've heard all the things about it, about the how it's like you gotta pay attention. Like, not specifics. I didn't know time travel was part of it when I went into it. I just knew it was a very complex show, and people said I need to pay attention. So I went in with my night vision goggles and magnifying glasses right out of the gate. I still, miss a fair amount, because it's just natural on a first watch, because this show's so dense in like stuff that's going on. But I think I did an okay job. I tripped a couple times, but I found my footing here and there. One episode to go. I hope I made it through most of it. Unpopular opinion, the Predator movie with Adam Brody was good. A sort of uncanon Predator movie. That's Predators, right? The one where they're on that alien planet and being hunted. I thought that movie was fun. I don't think it was one of the better ones, but I had fun with that movie. It was definitely better than The Predator. God, that movie was a mess. Dune's later books get really, really weird. Like, all the horror stories are really about something else. But Dune's later books are body horror kind of weird, not walking doll weird. Interesting. Interesting. Prey is a fantastic movie. Hot take, I've never seen any of the Predator movies. You should at least watch the first Predator movie. I think it still holds up, and it's definitely, outside of Prey, the best one. One of the ones. I think Prey is the only thing that comes close to matching the energy of the original film. There were 2 episodes of MA with Superman, both good, and I liked Slade's suit. Agreed. 2 episodes of MA. Oh, My Adventures with Superman. Both good. I mean, there's 6 episodes right now. There's not just 2. I've seen the Sarah Connor Chronicles. It's a good follow-up. I'm not actually. I've actually not seen the Sarah Connor the Sarah Connor Chronicles. That is hard to say. It could be the bourbon, but it's hard to say. We watched Dylan's First and Last with New Girl, I thought. Right. I completely forgot about that. You're right. I forgot that's what that was called. Sorry. Whoops. Now it's only 2 days till you watch the Dark finale. It is. Monday it will be when I watch the final episode of Dark. Been back to Doctor Who. Just watched the Shakespeare episode. I'm really enjoying it, but there's something that's keeping me from truly enjoying the show. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you. Because I think you're in, like, the prime era. Or at least the prime-ish era of the show. Or at least the next season, for sure. And then the subsequent ones after that just, like, continue to those, like, woof. I'd say, like, as much as I love Peter Capaldi, I think when it started to hit a little bit of a writing decline was in his arc. And it's not his fault. It's just the story, individual episode stories were a little meh. And Jodie was just done dirty by the writers, the storylines, and the showrunner. Like, she did the best she could, and I love Sacha Dhawan as the master. So good. But yeah. Maybe it's the knowing that it gets rocky and very mixed later. I don't know. That could do it for me if I'm watching something I wanted to continue that I got behind on, and then you hear people talking in a certain way about it. Maybe that. I don't know. Because that would kind of numb my enjoyment knowing that I'm getting closer to that, you know? I don't know. Maybe that. I don't know. I'm just projecting. Love Prey 2. Amber Midthunder was fantastic, and I think Prey is better than the first Predator, in my opinion. Oh, that's your opinion. You're right to have that. They are very close. They are very close for me. But I would still, for me, I still think the first succeeds in more ways. But Prey was really good. I have to go. See you later, Omni. Take it easy, Sketch. Have a good rest of your weekend. Live tapings have warm-up comedians, and sometimes they redo a take and tell you to laugh more. I know with Friends, at least, when they do that, they will, if the audience didn't laugh enough at the scene, they would rewrite the joke and do the scene over and do it and go with the joke that landed better. I know that they had that happen a lot. Like, they would basically use the live audience to test some of their material, and if it didn't land or hit the way they wanted, they would rewrite the joke or they would try the delivery a different way. So it's not a one-to-one, but that is something that they do. I do know that they sometimes tell them what to do in certain situations. For sure. I would have thought that I'd be sad for your Dark reactions to end, but then we both have Severance and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right after, which is amazing. Yeah. Since Severance is just a 1-season, 9-episode thing, thought it'd be fine. We got some gaps open. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., though, I'm still not sure if I have the willpower or the time to do more than 1 episode a week. And that's the thing about that show. It is significantly longer, and it's going to take up way more of my time. And people better show up for it, because if I commit to this, if people stop watching it, I'll cut it loose. So, and maybe just finish it on my own, but like, that is like a 2.5-year, 3-year commitment for me. Like, it's not like Dark, which I can finish in like 6 months or something like that, or where I finished Umbrella Academy in like 3 months. This is like 2.5 years I will be watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, you better show up. People better show up! 30 Rock is my favorite sitcom with no soundtrack. I've seen like a couple of scenes from it, but I've never watched too much of it. Shuti has said that his doctor is, my doctor is emotionally vulnerable. He hides it with humor, but he's lonely. I can't say much more than that. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's also energetic. I know, everything that he said about it is, really got me hopeful. Oh my lord, I forgot Power Rangers. Same rule as X-Files. Do I mention Power Rangers as much as I mention X-Files? I mean, I wouldn't disagree with it being on there. 11 is the best doctor, but Donna and 10 are the best pairing. Oh, yes. 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 I agree with that. They were proper mates, and it was so enjoyable. Yes, I will second that. Completely. 10 and Donna are my favorite duo. Favorite doctor companion pair. Have you ever watched the Voltron Legendary Defender cartoon? I've seen the original Voltron back in the day, but is that the new one on Netflix, or is that... I don't remember. All I remember is it just being called Voltron when I was watching it, but I could be wrong. Matt is my favorite representation of the Doctor. David had the best stories, Peter carried the show in his time, and poor Jodie did not even get closure on her stories. Yeah, they half ignored most of them, dropped others, and then completely shook the pillars of the Doctor Who lore to its core. And once again, just like... anyway, I won't go into the Gallifrey stuff, but god damn it, people, please. We'll see what happens. We could take a shot each time Florence Pugh was mentioned. I don't mention her that much. In this stream, yeah, but the rules are more for, like, any reaction, TV show reaction, movie reaction, or live stream. It's like general, you're watching me talk about something kind of thing. Ah, yes, the Dictator. Looking forward to seeing what new Doctor is going to bring. Each Doctor brings something different. I think it keeps the series fresh. I agree with that. I agree. And I can say that. I have seen all the classic ones as well. Good sitcoms are Unbreakable The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, 30 Rock, Community, Mystic Quest. Mystic Quest sounds familiar. I've not seen any of those, though, so I can't speak for any of them. I've seen, like I said before, I've seen clips of 30 Rock, but that's about it. Recently started Mystic Quest after I finished Community a few weeks back due to Danny Pudi. Probably said that wrong. He was in the B team of a professional club, I think, like an under 18 player or something. Okay, that makes more sense. Let's play Momniopoly. I will definitely give you points for that. Points for trying, for sure. So far, for 16, you can understand my love for Gav and Dion. Yes, definitely Dion, though I wish he would have stayed. They may be NPCs, but Gav is delightfully dim, and Dion is so tragically noble. I do. This game does a really good job at rounding out everybody. Like, even the most, like, satellite of NPCs gets some attention and love. I've been watching Netflix Sandman, which is so good. I'm on episode 5 at the moment. I've been watching your reactions after. Hell yeah. Is this your first time watching it? Oh, episode 5. I love Sandman. I think we will have to wait until 2025 for the second season. At this rate, probably. I love it. That was my favorite show and thing that came out that year. It's crazy, by the way. Like, most people I know got into Dark did so knowing it was about time travel. Yeah, my buddy who kept telling me to watch it said all he said was, I like X-Files, I would like Dark. He said nothing else about what it was and refused to tell me anything else. And then, you know, I saw 1899 come up and I was like, it was the new thing. It probably would have done better on the channel had I started with 1899, even though it got canceled. And I did the same thing when Midnight Mass was coming out. You know, it probably would have been better for me to have started Midnight Mass as my first Mike Flanagan show. But my brain was like, I know they're not connected, but I want to start at the beginning. So here I was like, I'll finally watch Dark and see what it was all about. And with the other example, while Midnight Mass was the hot thing, I had recently started Haunting at Hill House instead. Didn't get to Midnight Mass until like, a few months later? But yeah, did the same thing there, but I didn't know shit about Dark. I really went to watch Brenton Thwaite's stuff post Titans. He looks like such a baby in Gods of Egypt. Hope we see more of him. Dude, I totally forgot that he was, who was he? Oh my god, there was a movie I just, like, realized he was in not too long ago, and I can't remember what it is now. Oh, why am I... Brent Hall... What? Pirates of the Caribbean. What was it? Dead Man Tell No Tales. I did not ever realize that was him until maybe like a few months ago. He was in Oculus? Who the fuck was he in Oculus? Alright, whatever. Well, the Oculus was the first thing I saw him in, but I didn't know who he was. It was Predators with the Adrian Brody, not Adam Brody. Yeah, that makes sense to make the distinction. I know who you meant. But yeah, some other people might have been confused. You did do an amazing job with everything on Dark Omni. Like, no bullshit. I legit enjoy your reactions most of any I've seen so far, and I've seen like about 10, I think. Hell yeah. I've seen any shows on Apple TV Plus previously. No. I have not. The only things I've watched on Apple TV Plus... Actually, I think it's only been The Greatest Beer Run. I subscribed for that month just to do the reaction for that movie poll winner, and that's it. I think that's the only thing I've watched on there at all. But in the last month, I've been catching up, I think, on already 17 seasons of different shows there. Amazing things. Really. Damn. For 16, I watched someone do a no damage Titan fight. First fight, not the Attack on Titan. And it was so smooth transitioned with the cutscenes. It was like a second playthrough, though. Get all the skills. That's gnarly. My favorite from Peter Capaldi has to be the Missy and the Master. She's so much fun. I love Missy. I love her so much. Like, Michelle Gomez was amazing as Missy. Hi, human. Where Cat? Cat is taking a nap. My nose is running all of a sudden for some reason. I lose some spot. I've been wanting to get into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. myself for years too. Never found the time or willpower either. Well, here's the motivation. I'll be going there along with you now. Hell yeah. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so long, man. Like Supernatural. Supernatural definitely clears it by quite a bit, though, from my understanding. Yeah, I recently mapped it out, including credits. It's over 100 hours. I don't know. I'm thinking it's something with the production. I'm completely understanding why people love Tenet, though. See, that's the thing, too. For me, and kind of maybe the opposite way, the cleaner and more advanced and more polished the show got, the less I felt the magic. And I think that started in Capaldi's run, where they got a little more cinematic, and then they went real hard with it in Jodie's run. It just took something of the rustic comfort feel out of the show. Plus, in Jodie's run, they were doing, I think they were filming at 60 frames. Because the camera work, there was something about the quality of image that was just, it felt so uncanny and wrong. And I think that's part of it. The last special, though, I don't think used that. Because I remember noticing it wasn't as bad in that one. I might watch along with S.H.I.E.L.D. with you. I'll definitely watch your reactions. Oh, yeah. Mates? Nice one. Oh, yeah. Probably. Right. Maybe some rules as Revan in Kingdom Hearts. Possibly. A few people. Ugh. I heard a few people mention Florence Pugh, so that made me consider the idea. That's fair. Community is amazing. Especially the first 3 seasons. Yeah, fuck Netflix for canceling 1899. R.I.P. Speaking of the first 3 seasons, Arrested Development is great. I've seen, I think, 1 clip from that, but I don't really remember it. I know I've seen, a clip at least. It's my first time watching Sandman. I made a list of movies and series I want to see. It's a pretty big list. I'd love to see the list. But yeah, I got a huge one myself. Sandman's best episodes were 4 and 6 to me. Agreed. The Trip to Hell, and then the palate cleanser that was episode 6. I love Lucifer's portrayal, and they kept some of the best lines, too, for after the fight. Let me check that I got the episodes right. Because episode 6 is Sound of My Wings, right? Yeah. Dude, it still mildly bothers me that some channels they did 1 through 10, but they still never reacted to episode 11, the bonus episode, the DLC. The first show I've seen on a streaming network that got a DLC episode. Yeah, there's so many people that still never reacted to that episode. That one's a really good one. 11 is really good. I think everyone can relate to that. Hell yeah. The to-watch list is so big, so quick. I have to go, but good rest of your weekend. You as well, AD. Thanks for hanging out. Oh no, drippy nose. Were you allergic to my message? Could be. Because it happened almost immediately as I read it. The way some shows are shot with film versus digital takes away a lot of my interest from some shows. I get some people really like 4K, but I can live without seeing the actors' pores. See, for me, it's not so much digital versus film that's the issue. I do believe film looks better in general, but the digital aspect isn't something that takes me out of it. It's when they try to do above 24 frames per second. It just looks wrong. The motion looks wrong. And Jodie's run was doing that for a long time. That's the thing that took me the most out of it. But it was also the color grading was changed, the aspect ratio was changed, the just the general lensing was changed as well. Yeah, that was the thing that made it it just took some of the hominess out of the show for me. And it's just only been getting more and more like that. Though, like I said, this last special felt a little more closer to what we've been used to prior, like back in the day. A little closer to what we used to be doing. I think the hangover of Rose and the love storyline to then switch to Martha, who is more self-confident and independent, and made the season slightly jarring. There's definitely that as well. Especially because 10 is very still emotionally entangled with Rose. And then you have Martha, who's also trying to struggle with her attraction to 10 while he's not really seeing her as anything more than a friend. It's interesting. Which is why I found Donna so refreshing, because they were just mates. They were just, oh the God, when he first said that, no, I just want to be mates. And she's like, mates? And she just starts going off on him because she thinks he wants to mate with her. And I was like, dude, the Donna 10 dynamic, it was so refreshing. That's the thing. I love that she didn't take any of his shit. And I'm so happy that they're coming back, even though he's not 10, but it is 10 it and Donna Noble once again. I'm so curious how that's going to go. And you're caught up. Guess you get to eat and take a nap. Oh, we got 9 minutes. We'll chill for a little bit. I do plan on going out and eating at least, though, if anyone's not too busy. I was driving around and saw a Dodge Challenger in the black and yellow Cobra Kai paint job, and the car was marketing a guy's karate dojo company. That is great. That is hilarious. That's some good shit right there. I do like that aesthetic, though, for the Challenger. It's the reverse of the Bumblebee. The reverse coloring. It does look good. What, did you catch the name of the dojo? Was it at least worthy of the reference? Insert Darth Vader no. No. Also, when you have higher frame rates and crispiness, you also have sets that look a little cheaper and more like sets. They don't feel real anymore. Thanks. I hate it. See, I do get what you mean there. I think Doctor Who had the reverse effect for me, because it just, everything, because I like the kind of B-movie, cheapy TV feel the Revival series had through 10's run, through a bulk of 11's run. Obviously, as the show got more popular again, it got more budget and stuff, and they just upped the quality, and it never crossed that line that went from that fun afternoon TV adventure energy until I'd say closer to 12's arc. But it was just because it started to feel more like a high, like it was trying to be something away from its roots, that it started to feel like a different thing for me. I don't know. Like, it was trying too hard to like save face with shows like Game of Thrones and stuff that had these higher quality sets and shows and cameras, and I was like, that's not what is important to me in Doctor Who. Like, for the aliens and maybe some of the effects, that's fine, but I don't know, something about the look, they got a little too in on making it try to feel modern and cinematic that took me out of it. Martha was the second wife of a widower. Perfectly fine, but not the original. Oh, I got you. Yeah, for sure. Perfectly fine, but not the original. I like Martha a lot. I like the stories she had with him, but I like that she also was... She, unlike so many of his companions, knew when to tap out. And I like that she made that call. You ain't mating with me, sunshine. Gotta love Donna. Dude, Dr. Donna. How do you think they'll resolve the whole Dr. Donna situation? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't even have a theory to posit about how Donna is wrapped into what's going on right now, let alone how they will resolve this unresolvable situation she was in before. Unless, yet again, it ends with her having her memories suppressed. I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm so excited. I think why you're weirded out by the 60 FPS is because you're so used to the disconnect. It works for other things, like seeing a Duel of the Fates in 4K is something to behold. Yeah, it just in dialogue, it looks so off. It's why I hate that true motion shit that a lot of TVs come with enabled by default. Also, I've been having this question for a while. How do you manage to contain yourself to not watch more episodes of things that are already out, like Dark, for that example? Knowing I have limited ass time. So like I'll record something and knowing that I can just kind of like, and then just stare at a wall for a minute, or get a bite to eat or snack, or just put on some YouTube. I don't know. There's been like a time or two where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch the next episode right now because I'm still awake. I've done that. There was a Dark episode. There was one time I think I did one back to back. There was something I know I did back to back like that, but I don't remember off the top of my head. There's been a time or two where it's like, damn it, I just need to watch the next episode right now. I do not feel satisfied in where we stopped at this point. But it all just comes down to how much time I have, because a lot of the time that I have throughout the week is doing my actual day job, trying to force myself to sleep, or at least wind down to sleep, because winding my brain down to want to even go to bed is a different thing, because I will like gaslight myself into telling myself I have not had any me time, which that can be playing a game or just catching up on YouTube videos from other channels that I'm a fan of, or what have you. So like a lot of that is like rewarding myself with stuff that isn't a responsibility, if that makes sense. Because like as much as I love doing this stuff, at the end of the day, I have a deadline. I have to get it to my editor for some of these shows. There's like a stress that is involved with the act of enjoying the show at the end of the day. And once I'm done, I just want to not be in that mode. So that's kind of one of the things. Be true to Doctor Who and what you are. If you're Star Trek, don't worry about your aliens or just a plunger on a dog. Yeah, right? I mean, I don't do reactions, and when something hooks me and it doesn't only release weekly, I have to keep watching. See, if I wasn't recording it, if I wasn't talking for 10 to 15 minutes after every episode, I would just lead right into it. It's sometimes my own discussion that winds me down out of the need to continue. If I'm not recording something and I'm watching something, like I was watching, like last night, I basically binged all of the normies' reactions to Young Justice so far, because I watched 1, I watched 2, and then I was like, damn it, I need to see the reaction to this next part. And that continued until I completely caught up last night. Like, if I wasn't covering this for the channel, I would be done with half of these shows, you know, because I would just need to continue. But I think it's that 10 to 15 minute buffer where I review the episode and talk about it and then send it off and then do the thumbnail and do all that stuff that allows me a buffer to come down from that need to move forward, you know? A plunger on a dog. Summer! I don't understand the hate for Martha. So far, I haven't really had a bad companion, even though I absolutely hated Rose's supporting cast. Really? I can see that, but I like Mickey and I like her mom. I like Jackie. I like them. I thought they were nice and endearing. It was nice to have a family unit. But yeah, I didn't even know people hated Martha until long after the fact, once I started covering it on the channel and stuff, once I entered the internet fandom sphere of it all. Because when I was watching it, getting into it, I wasn't really keeping up with all of that part of anything. I don't know if out of the revival stuff, I'm not sure who I would pick as my least favorite companion. It would definitely be anybody out of Jodie's run. If I had to pick anybody to be the bottom of the barrel. Like, there was even some one-off companions that I enjoy that had more character development than some of the companions in there. Like, I would probably, like, what was her name? Yaz is probably, if I were to rank all of the companions of the Revival series, I think she'd be at the bottom. And I don't dislike Yaz, but they didn't know what to do with her half the time. Graham is one of my favorites, though. Graham is one of my favorites. Dan grew on me pretty quick. Yeah, Donna's my favorite. For sure. My only complaint about My Adventures of Superman is they are taking the Iron Man Jr. complaint with Spider-Man, and they said, hey, what if we did that to all of Superman's villains? Other than that, it's amazing. I don't see that comparison. Because none of them, I mean, they're just, their powers are tech related. They aren't basically becoming a legacy character. I think there's a different way you could word that. I know what you mean, but I don't think that's the comparison. At least to me, it doesn't connect in the way I think you're meaning it. I know what you're trying to say, and I can kind of understand that. How everything is just related to this alien tech. At the end of the day, creating their powers. But we've seen with some of them, now they don't need the tech to have their powers. So that's going to be interesting to see how it evolves. I completely get that. It's very different once you start doing reactions to things and have it attached to a schedule. That's a big thing. Martha matched 10 for intelligence and logical thinking. She was great. Also, shout out to Graham and Dan. Yeah, there you go. Before I read this comment, right there, right with you. How do you keep going when binging longer shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Try binge watch Arrow and only halfway through season 4. Is there a second part to this? Oh, no, sorry, I read that wrong. How do you keep going when binging longer shows? Like, I'm just the commitment to the channel, really. I just do one episode a week. Because I gotta not burn out. Because I still have to edit, and I still have to review, I still have to thumbnail, tag, post, and then share all the media stuff. So there's a lot behind the scenes that just keeps me going. But keeping myself on a schedule is what kind of helps. And you guys are a huge part of that, the interaction. That makes it really enjoyable. Man, Arrow, still, to this day, one of my favorite shows of all time. Season 1 of Buffy has to be watched for completeness, but my god, do I cringe at the effects and fighting. Plus the picture quality is so low. Yeah, at least it gets better. X-Files, Drink, had a little bit of that kind of issue too. As it found what its first season is very like you can tell the cameras were what they had at the time and stuff like that. But like as it hits like season 3 onward, it gets nice and crisp, and I think it evolves with the medium at its time. There's never like a huge jump in quality. It's like a very gradual evolution. I think season 3 onward is just peak X-Files, man. But seasons 1 through 2 still have some of my top 10 episodes of the whole show. Not long to go for Ahsoka. Not long at all. Thankfully, Martha didn't mind Rose's supporting cast. Didn't she marry Mickey? I think so. I know she ended up with Mickey when she was in Unit. Eventually. Yeah, they were engaged. They were engaged, right? When they showed up. When 10 was saying his goodbyes to everybody, I think. Well, shit. Wait, hold up. Sorry. I don't know if the person who was watching this Martha stuff is even to that point yet. Shit. I am so sorry if you were not. I don't think you were. I'm bad. Even later, there's a big snake in season 5 that is fully just someone in a beautifully bad costume that just caves in when Buffy punches him, and I love it. Dude, Buffy is some good cheese, and that's another show that wouldn't exist without the X-Files. Just saying, we wouldn't have Buffy. We actually wouldn't have the Doctor Who revival if it wasn't for X-Files either. They literally turned all of Superman's villains tech-based with Iron Man-like armor. Exactly, but not exactly. I agree. I agree, but anyway. I'm not too thrilled with Slade's Deathstroke suit in My Adventures with Superman. Don't screw with perfection. Remember, this is like Deathstroke 10, 15 years before he becomes Deathstroke. He's not Deathstroke yet. He's just Agent Slade. He's still a good guy for the government right now. He still has both of his eyes. So let's revisit that when he makes that transition. Because he's still baby Slade. Because I'm sure once he loses that eye, and they'll change some things up. My Adventures with Superman is like what Elon Musk would do with alien tech. In a way, they kind of played and poked fun with those types of people with Dr. Ivo. I love it, man. I don't know. I don't know if you're not enjoying it at all, but it's so much. I love it. Didn't even think about that. I lied. It didn't happen. Watch James Gunn cast Henry Cavill as Bizarro. I wholeheartedly think he's going to cast Henry Cavill as what's his name? What's his name? From The Authority. God damn it, why can't I find this? Apollo. I would not be surprised if they had Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill as Apollo and Midnighter. Season 1 of Supernatural, which was 2005, it was very dark in contrast. That's true. And I just noticed it wasn't even subscribed. Well, that makes sense since everything I watch on YouTube is due to searching for it, specifically your channels, or getting it recommended. But still, why? How dare you, Ninjaro, this entire time? I adore it, Summer. I know what you mean. She's just like, are you okay? No, of the cheese slice guy. I'm back. What did I miss? You missed a couple more X-Files references. Oh. I have a theory that effects in the 90s peaked and then new technology kicked in. Like Jurassic Park had great effects, mainly practical, but then the following ones weren't as sharp because new tech. Kinda. I can see that. Like, I don't know, man. Jurassic Park still holds up, man. No, the CGI was 93, man. I think that CGI, for the most part, you can still tell it's got this dated feel to it. But like, the melding of the practical and the visual is just masterfully done. That movie, I saw it in theaters during the Pandy when they were showing old movies and stuff, and like, it's so good. It still holds up, man. That's my favorite movie, man. James Gunn were to recast Henry Cavill, I want the big brain move of casting him as Apollo. Yes, that's what I was saying. It would be amazing and piss off so many fanboys. Yes. My Adventures with Superman's Deathstroke is pre-Lian Yu / League of Assassins Slade. Yes, agreed. Exactly. Beat you to it. I'm loving My Adventures with Superman. The Iron Man comment is just a joke, poking fun. I just wish they didn't do the tech stuff with Parasite, but I can't wait to see how they do Lex Luthor. Yeah, I can't wait to see any of this too, man. It's just fresh. It's just fun. It's interesting. It's one of the reasons why I really like Harley Quinn, because like it pokes fun. It has fun. But at the end of the day, it still understands these characters in and out. Like, they get the intent, especially this last episode and the way it truly, exaggeratedly, but truly understood Lex. This show understands Clark, it understands his relationships, it understands his villains, but it does them in a nice and refreshing, different way that makes it interesting. Gosh, it's so good. Saw people saying that the general at the end is Lex Luthor. And what the fuck? No. There's no way. Yeah, I'm right with you. It's definitely got to be Sam Lane. It's gotta be. Like, it wouldn't make sense with the structure so far if it was anybody else. If it was Hardcastle, if it was Ealing, it wouldn't make sense thematic or narratively if it's anybody other than Sam Lane. I know, fixed it now. Honestly, can't remember how long ago I subscribed to a channel in general, though. Well, good. You're no longer the enemy. Ever since YouTube algorithm got so good, there really was a need to do anything so more. Like 10 years ago, subscribing to channels was kind of essential to find new videos. Yes, I get what you mean. The Pandy. Yeah. Who's your favorite actor that can pull off both drama and comedy? For me, it's Todd Phillips. Hangover and director. Do you mean director? Favorite? I think I assume you mean director based on the later comments. For me, it's Todd Phillips, Hangover / Joker director, but quickly becoming James Gunn. Yeah, okay, you clarified. Director, not actor. Well, there's also the reverse of that, I think, with Craig Mazin. He started off doing comedy, and then he did Chernobyl. I think that's one of the biggest 180s I've seen. God, there's somebody else that comes to mind. I think Craig Mazin's phenomenal so far. He's just, sometimes when you're putting out a bunch of shit, some of it's not going to land well, like superhero movie and God knows what else. But I think I agree with the two that you mentioned for sure. James Gunn is definitely one of those, but I'd throw Craig Mazin into that. What's your opinion of the Doctor Who spinoffs? I'm kind of intrigued, but if they aren't anything good, I'm not going to even bother. I know a lot of people love Torchwood. I think a lot of that has to do with the actors and John Barrowman and obviously Captain Jack Harkness. I watched it all twice, and I still just couldn't get into it. And half the time I didn't really know what the fuck was going on. A lot of it didn't make sense. It's very mature. It's very raunchy. It's very perverted. Not that those are bad things. It's just a warning because it's an adult. It was meant for adult audiences. It's a Doctor Who spinoff for adult audiences, while there was the Sarah Jane Adventures was a Doctor Who spinoff for kids. Which honestly, I didn't mind that. I thought that was cute. I haven't got too far into it, but that was cute. I watched all of Torchwood, and honestly, I don't think I don't think it's worth a watch, and I don't think it contributes anything to the series overall. And I think Sarah Jane Adventures is the opposite, though I just haven't finished it yet. Now we need 299 other people to do so. We're almost at the 50K milestone, man. It's so close. We need it. Gimme. Subscribe-y. I hope RTD keeps talking about it. This could be the best time for Doctor Who spinoffs. I know they're talking about doing a unit one, which I would love with Kate Lethbridge Stewart. I really hope that goes through. Michael still needs to use the hot sauces he bought. What was that? What was hot sauces you bought? Like, I degraded into some nondescript accent there. Yeah, I do. I've opened the box just to glance at the sauces, but I still have not opened any of the sauces. So maybe I'll do that for the 50K thing. Or maybe I don't know. I was thinking about ordering one for one, like seeing if I could get like another reactor or something, get us on here to do like a trivia off or something. Because I know some people aren't doing reactions right now because of how they fit into the influencer category and stuff like that, where we're like more critical and all of that. I was like, maybe that could be fun, something to do to collab with some of those people, help give them a little content as well. Maybe do like a trivia thing, and if you get the question wrong, you have to advance up the tier of hotness. But I haven't gone too far with that yet. What are your thoughts on Joker? It's one of my favorite films of all time. I loved it. I thought it was so good. I saw it like 2 or 3 times in theaters. I thought it was really, really good. But yeah, I did move it into the living room. I was like, where did it go? Yeah, I loved it. I loved Joker. Freaking love Torchwood. I was watching it earlier. Weird. I couldn't get into it. I loved Jack Harkness, but I just couldn't get into it. Is Pandy short for Madame Dick? Yeah. Am I having an old person moment where I don't know what the cool kids are saying? I mean, Bex, come on. Rebecca, use your computing brain. Yes. What is the first part of pandemic? I just try not to say certain words on here because I don't know how YouTube and the algorithm handle it. We're getting so old. Craig Mazin's sudden success is really weird to me. I've been listening to his podcast for years before he suddenly got recognition he deserves. I listened to the podcast for The Last of Us. I haven't listened to his podcast, and I really, really want to. Who's going to be your main on MK1, and why is it Omni-Man? Well, that is what one might think if they didn't understand the full origin of my actual name. But I am excited to play Omni-Man. My main will probably stay Scorpion. Scorpion's my main. But I can't wait to play Omni-Man. I can't wait to see how Peacemaker plays. I'm very curious how they're going to make some of these characters distinct, and the cast is so interesting. Tarantino for both. Tarantino is one of those people that does it both in the same movie, though. I don't know that he transitioned from one into the other, because all of his movies are both serious, but at the same time hilarious. Yeah, it's in the living room. See, and now we're a season behind. Now that box of seasons, those sauces, is a season old. Do that with Real Rejects. I can try, but they haven't stopped. They're keeping on the train. I just saw that they were going to do a sequel to Sarah Jane. What? How? Maybe with the kid? Though, rest in peace to her, though. You saw Joker 3 times in theaters? Follow-up question. Did you have therapy after? That was therapy. No, I've never been to a therapist. Probably should. Stop! I'm dead. Sadly, Sarah Jane is... I don't know why my brain was like trying to think of a more polite, not polite, but less cold way to say that. Not calling you out, Christian, but my brain immediately went to AFK, which isn't any better. Sadly, Sarah Jane has passed away in real life due to a bout with cancer. Yeah, sadly enough. Yeah, Blind Wave stopped for a bit and now only started doing different scheduled things that aren't struck by SAG-AFTRA. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that, which is still it's still so gray. Even like with not what they're, some of the shows that they're covering are still AMPT are still coming from AMPTP studios, though, which is why I'm mildly confused about how that works. But again, the SAG guidelines say if you're primary, like if you are a reviewer, if you are a critic, if you are an entertainment journalist, continue doing what you're doing. And we do a whole mix of that. Like our reactions, like I've said before, it's literally just context for the 10 to 15 minute review that follows. You just get to see, the only difference is you get to see how my opinion forms. That's really the only difference. And I don't see how that's any different, because they haven't asked reviewers to stop going to see new movies and stop talking about and reviewing new movies. That's still perfectly okay. So I don't get that. But again, I don't fit into the certain categories I would say they do. Specifically some of the other channels that I've seen to stop. And I respect everybody for supporting in their own ways. I figured, though, if I'm going to continue to review stuff, I will at least use my reviews to provide information and voice my support in favor of them. So getting that out to as many people, everybody that clicks on videos is getting that boilerplate and being asked to check out the links for information on how to help and how to support. So if I'm going to continue reviewing, I still want to help the cause, you know? So if they say they want people to stop reviewing stuff, I'll stop reviewing stuff. But that doesn't fall under the guidelines for performing struck actions or services, so it is what it is. Everybody's kind of interpreting it all the same, a different way, because the thing is, I know some people cited that one comment too, where they were like, reactions are promotional or whatever, and blah blah blah, and it's like, well, some are, because there are some reaction channels, and I'm not calling anyone out by names. It's definitely not Blind Wave. They don't do this. But I know there are channels out there, and maybe there's a reputation that comes with reactions, because I guarantee nobody at SAG knows what we do to the extent that you guys do. But, like, there are reaction channels, you know them, you've seen them, that they get into the video as fast as they can, and they end it with barely even touching or talking on it. The video is like 97% the reaction. That I can understand being a no-go. But like, I critique, I call out the flaws, I praise a lot of the time, because I'm not like, I can enjoy flawed content, but I will definitely point it out. And then I spend God knows how long, sometimes too long, sometimes longer than the reaction itself, and once longer than the actual content itself uncut, talking about the things, themes, issues, praises of it. So like, the weird thing is, reactions and reaction channels don't all fall under the same blanket as one another. Like, it's a very loose way in how we handle everything. Like, I don't get invited to shit. I have been asked to promote shit, you know? So like, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't see how a positive review from somebody who's still reviewing a movie is any different. So like, I don't think that applies. And I think, and they've said this too, they say it is based for content creators and people who post like this stuff, like we do, it is basically on a case-by-case basis. From the last thing that came out is a case-by-case basis. So there's not one answer fits everybody, even though they have those facts, which kind of point it down into some black and white areas as a guideline for the most part. But we're in a whole different world. What happens there, like, at the end of the day, nothing comes back on to support us. None of this is going to support us in the long run, other than, you know, I don't know. It's a gray topic, and I understand some people being wholly uncomfortable doing what they do, especially if they have such a huge following. But dude, I've always labeled myself as an amateur TV film critic, a fan, and all that. So if they say reviews are a no-go, like I said in my breakdown about how I'm handling the strike, if they ask for a boycott, if they ask for reviewers to stop, I'll stop. I will stop. But so far they've said that that's not crossing the line. It's not performing a struck service. Reviewers are in the clear. And that's why I make sure I do what I do. Like if I don't add anything to the conversation, why am I reacting to this? I know why some people are doing that. Obviously, the views. Obviously, you get more. The algorithm will push you more if more people are watching, and most people watch just the reaction. Very few stay through the entire video. So if your reaction is the majority of your video, the algorithm will see that as, wow, they got close to 100% watch time. This is like 70% watch time. And promote that video and pump that out. Like, where versus for me, like watch time is like 20 to 30% because usually my reaction is a very small portion of the video, depending. So like, it's the game. I get it. People are playing the game. Some people, for some other reasons, it is what it is. But that's why I'm like, it's not a one answer catch-all kind of thing. Anyway, that's my soapbox. But I wholly love and respect Blind Wave wholly for what they're doing. I think they're a very different network than we are, and especially Heroes Reforged. Love what they're doing. I love those guys. They are great. They're also in a different status and situation than we are. So like, it's just like I said, it's a case by case basis. It's a struggle navigating this, but I want to support while also doing what I can to not lose any traction as well. Because at the end of the day, if we stop pivoting and people aren't there for you, that's channel death. Like, it's not like a mild dip in income for a few months. It's just you've lost your channel. You're not going to recover. The algorithm will doom you forever. I think Blind Wave and Heroes, though, I think they're, from what I've seen from their communities, I think they'll be supported no matter what they do. But we're a little bit different here. Anyway, soapbox done. After I typed that, I was like, why did I say that? Why did I say dead? Should have typed AFK. Baldur's Gate looks phenomenal. I haven't played it for like a year because I had the early access for Baldur's Gate 3, and I kept hitting a bug that kept halting my progression. So I don't know, I got a little checked out on it. I had to restart like 3 or 4 times. But obviously it was in beta, it was early access, it's to be expected. But I haven't played since then. But I have the game. I just reinstalled it last night. So I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more of that. AFK from the world. They're my favorite reaction channels. Normies, no in descript order. But Greg and John, Rejects, you guys know that. Love those guys. Blind Wave, the Normies, I watch a lot of. J&C React, I've been watching a lot of their stuff, particularly their reactions to Vox Machina. Bad Medicine, dude, I've been binging their shit for a long time now. I've actually been talking to them here and there as well about channel stuff. But who else, man? I mean, I watch a little bit of everybody. Like, if there's a certain show that I'm really wanting to see reactions for, I basically will consume anybody's reactions for it. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think I've watched every channel that has ever reacted to that react to that. Vicuña, I don't know if that's how you say her name. I've been watching a lot of her. Nat Gold, I watch on the regular. Mary Cherry, I watch on the regular. Obviously previewed. I'm just scrolling through. Those are the top ones I frequent a lot. But I'll watch and or talk to a lot of everybody else's. I saw and thought it was a sequel show on another season that I'm aware. She unfortunately passed. I haven't seen A Silent Voice. If not, it's an anime film that deals with some heavy topics. You should really watch it. And seen it more than 10 times now. I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to take a look at it. Making my tombstone read Robotka AFK forever. Oh my god. One memorial to just say BRB with a cancel sign over it. Rust, and Nuts and Bolts. It's record and play at the same time. Show is over, says goodbye, and stops recording. Pretty much. Yeah, those people exist. Hoyo! There are a lot of channels that will have about 20 minutes of reaction and an hour of talking after. Yeah, there are. But I think there's just as many that don't. When you look at the SKUs. Or the discussion after is a minute to 3 minutes, you know. I know the game. I just don't play the game. I could shut my trap and get more views probably if I didn't have so much of my video being the discussion. I would probably get more favorable performance in the algorithm. Hell, I've had that advice given by another channel before about balancing the after discussion and getting into it. Like, don't have a long intro, don't have a long outro. And I'm just like, I just can't do that. I get that too, like for things I truly love, and the discussion after is often the best part. Exactly. But yeah, if it's not something I'm big on and I want to see someone's reaction to some specific moment or something, I don't always save for the discussion either. It's also very true. It's going to be different to everybody. My cat has just come to collect me as it's bedtime. And a great first live stream for me on this channel. Night all. Well, thanks for hanging out, Janine. Thanks for joining and subscribing today. But have a good night and have some great bedtimes with your cat. Hopefully see you next time. We're the Omni-Maniacs, the whole league of our own. Yeah, I'm on that Heroes Discord and Patreon. I'm so mad. I joined the Patreon for the Superman Lois reactions and then the strike, so they aren't reacting to it just yet. Sigh. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, Blindwave also have a huge community of people that will at least try to get into anything new they pick up, even if they haven't seen it before. But I'm getting to that point, it's incredibly tough. That's very true. And plus, dude, Blindwave's Patreon is... Dude, they can do whatever they want pretty much on YouTube, and it won't matter. Their Patreon, holy shit, drives all of what they do. Like, my Patreon, I mean, I'm not like... I mean, it has definitely helped with me getting an editor and stuff like that. But like last month, like I went negative in what I owed the editors versus what actually came in from Patreon. And that's fine, because I usually, like I've told you guys 1,000 times, even no matter where it comes from, it goes back into the channel. For a long time, we were running in the red just because I love doing this, man. It's a fun hobby. It does get expensive though. The more and more you start to put out, and then, you know, you got to pay for the hosting for like Vimeo or whoever your host is and stuff to hold your videos for the Patreon and stuff like that. There's a lot of things stack up. But my God, like their whole thing, I think, is purely fueled off. Obviously, they get a shit ton of views, so their ad revenue's got to be crazy. But like, their Patreon is their main pull. God damn. Anyway, but yeah. Get the tricky nature of trying to navigate the YouTube gray waters of unusual times. There's a lot of travel vloggers, and I really had to get creative with the lockdown. That's very true as well. You sometimes get the actual reaction looking like they were loving it, and then they talk and they drag it down, which sometimes is a bummer. I get that. Sometimes, like, I mean, I feel like I do that sometimes. Like, I'm laughing, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying it, but that, like, I enjoy faults. I enjoy certain things, so sometimes I think that may present oddly, but like, I just don't think things are all as black and white as they sure seem. I recently found Bad Medicine and watched a lot of things from them too. Their energy is crazy. I love their dynamic. I love that set they have too. You got called out in previous first Jeopardy's video. I laughed so hard at that. What did they say? I haven't watched their Jeopardy videos yet. What did they say? Rat him out. Rat him out, Summer. I'll relate to that so much. Like, I don't want to call any names, but there is one reaction channel that I had that happened so much with, where y'all watched them like back to back. You could have had Omni, Bad Medicine, How to Train Your Dragon reactions. I saw that too. Greg just posted a reaction for Memento. I'll just go ahead and tell you, any of you guys who aren't on the Patreon, that won our Patreon poll for this month. So that will be this month's movie reaction from the community, was Memento, which is just funny to me how that sometimes happens. Maybe it's because everybody's in a very Nolan-y mood. It's been on the list for a while. This is the first time it's really made it towards the top of the list. And I think it has to do with everybody's like riding the high from Nolan. But yeah, that's going to be the next community reaction. You know, Tag we just put up, but then Memento will be coming out towards the end of the month. Reaction, they are laughing and seemingly loving every second. After it's over, they're so negative. It happens sometimes. I'm watching Alex Hefner react to Harry Potter. He's very sexual in his jokes, but he's a fun dude. Alex Hefner. That sounds familiar. I think I've been getting recommended them. Yeah, I've been seeing a bunch. I haven't subscribed to him or checked out any of his stuff, but he's been popping up in my recommended a lot this week. I always watch till the channel legends, so I wouldn't know. The discussion is the best part. Why, thank you, Christian. Model subscriber right there. Some reaction channels have full episodes on Patreon, but others have sync options. Could you tell me how that works? Well, full episodes is illegal. Again, please don't say shit. Don't say anything. I don't want anybody getting in trouble. I don't want anybody saying who's who. Like, obviously, I'll say who I know does sync options, because obviously they admit it. It's Blind Wave and Real Rejects. They are like my go-to, how do I operate a reaction channel place, as far as like how to manage the business side of things a little bit, or the ins and outs of like the mechanics of the Patreon stuff. So I subscribe to Blind Wave's Patreon, and I know they do the sync stuff. So I was like, okay, if that's what they're doing, then that's fine. But yeah, I know for a fact, though, a lot of people post exactly what you see on YouTube, but with none of the cuts and none of the edits. So you see the reference footage the entire time. That's illegal. Like, that is de facto illegal. And there was a big soiree about that on a couple of anime channels, like 2-3 years ago. That was a whole legal thing. I still don't know what happened with that, how it got resolved, but I know some people lost their Patreons completely. So that's just a very dangerous game to play. And I had some people, because of that reason, like when the whole Bleach fiasco, I don't know how many other channels talked about it, but about a month or two ago, everybody pulled their Bleach reactions from Patreon and various other anime. Bleach was the only one that affected me, because that's the only anime I've reacted to that's not Attack on Titan. It was basically anything under Viz Media, which is a lot of anime. They targeted everybody and forced us all to remove our stuff, regardless of what we had in the video, because they didn't check. They just saw that we had Bleach stuff up there. So my stuff is now back, obviously, because my stuff didn't have reference footage or anything like that. So mine was clear, and that could be very dangerous for other people. Thing is, that's great for getting people to sign up, because that makes it easier. They don't have to sync with anything. They don't have to do anything else. It's just right there. They can see the whole thing. Audio, video, everything. Obviously, that is one way to really get a poppin' Patreon. But it is illegal. I think everyone can have sync due to copyright. You have to have the source material open on the other screen yourself. Exactly. No! I like the discussion. For me, their insights and sometimes the things they make notice all make it better. See, I'm the same way as well. Your reaction is the perfect time limit for both the reaction and the discussion. Well, thank you, Geeked. I appreciate that. I remember for a while I'd watch TV show reactions when I couldn't access the actual show. Then I stumbled on Blind Wave and I started to actually watch the discussions after. Yeah, man, I love their talks, man. They can veer off into some weird topics, but man, I love listening to, like, sometimes they talk for like an hour. I love it. Same with like the rejects and stuff. I like hearing what people have to say after the fact. Poppy gave me some attention. Now she's coming back to your door to scratch. How dare she? Blind Wave feels like a mini TV production. They kind of are. I mean, they have an entire studio for all their different stuff. They have a building dedicated to their reactions, their editing, not the stuff that they edit. They have like editors that, as far as I know, aren't in-house. They have stream rooms. They have skit rooms. They have their reaction room. They have their own gym. I've never been it. I've seen it. I've heard about it. They have their own gym in their building, in their studio building. Yeah, they're rolling, man. Linewave did have one video that didn't perform well. I just remember there was a lot of backlash to their music video reaction to WAP. There's backlash? Really? I thought that one popped off. Memento is so great. It was really good. Have I played the Wolverine Origins game? If not, I highly recommend it. I got the PS version of it because it was unrated. And yeah, I did really enjoy it. I loved the effects, and I hope the new Wolverine game does that with the healing factor. Like how it melds down. You watch the bone recover, you watch the muscle recover, and then the skin heals back. Like, I loved that. Well, me personally, I'm always riding the Nolan high. Hell yeah. You need to watch their first one. They said they were doing something different due to the strikes, so throwing spaghetti at the wall. You need to watch their first one. So they were doing something. Well, I need to know what they said. I'm literally watching your full-length Memento reaction, and then got the notification for his reaction. That's funny. Jay was all, just wait. Omni will be reacting to Jeopardy next. Oh, okay. I don't know if there was a dare involved, but he mentioned you by name, saying you needed to do it next. I do like reacting to game stuff, especially trivia stuff or something like that. Like, the stuff I did, like reacting to like the Stranger Things stuff, like where they were getting these questions, and then what was it? Guess the 90s intro, TV show intro or whatever. I think that's fun. I mean, it's a very fun idea. I mean, maybe. I used to watch a shit ton of Jeopardy though, growing up. Just a heads up, if you ever watch Alex's content, he has 3 separate channels and they don't link to each other. I'll have to check on that. One of my to-watch lists is Firefly. Is it good? I have not seen it. It's on my to-watch list, so I can't say. The Gym is part of their content. It's Rick's show, by the way. What Nolan films have you not seen? Oh, shit. I had them listed. Following, The Prestige, Dunkirk, and there was a 4th one. The thing is, I mentioned those in my Memento reaction, but I don't remember the 4th one off the top of my head, but I'm looking. Where are you at? Insomnia. That's the other one. I haven't seen that one. Alex Hefner is music video reactions. Alex Hefner's TV and Movie Vault is movie and TV reactions, and Alex Hefner Gaming. Gotcha. Yeah, I think I've been getting his movie and TV stuff here lately. There's a German group, YouTube group I like to watch. They originally started with gaming, but these days a lot of their content is just like their own game shows they do themselves. Oh, that sounds cool. I've seen a couple channels like that similarly. That's really cool. Another one that's really fun is Dylan. Dylan is in Trouble. Barry got me into that. And dude, his commentary is great. Oh, another one that I just thought of because it's a very similar, not in humor, but in style and the way that it's edited, kind of. Oh, why am I blanking on her name? Son of a bitch. All right, I gotta just pull up my subscriber list. I don't know why I can't think of her name right now. Like, I want to like remember it before I find it, but there's no way I haven't watched that channel in this long. Why is it so far down on my list? Dude, I know I've watched the... Where is it? There's no reason it should be this far down. Did I get magically unsubscribed from it? I know that happens sometimes. There's just no way it should be this far down. A Good One TV is a great one for Attack on Titan and Full Metal Alchemist and Avatar. I love his discussions on those. I don't watch any of the shows he's currently watching, so I haven't watched him in some time, but he's got great commentary. All right, this is just straight up bullshit. Am I just missing it? There you are. Oh my god, I was just right there. Angela. I'm sorry, Angelina. Yeah, her commentaries are fucking hilarious. And some killer reactions and observations here and there. Omn1 and Following are the only Nolan movies I'm missing too. I hadn't even heard of them until I looked up the filmography. The Prestige is my favorite Nolan film. However, Insomnia, I hate. Interesting. We'll see how that goes. I admit to watching channels that do part 1, part 2 of full shows. Game of Thrones until I went to watch part 1 of an episode and YouTube recommendations that went to with it spoiled Joffrey's death. Oh, that sucks. That's always dangerous. That's always dangerous too. Inception is my favorite Nolan film. You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling. It's a great one, man. I think that was the first non-Batman Nolan film I've seen. I know for a fact that's the first non-Batman Nolan film I've seen. I think Batman Begins was my introduction to Nolan. But yeah, I like Inception a lot. Saw that in Vancouver, I think. Yeah, that's the first time I saw that was in Vancouver. But I think my favorite film is Oppenheimer of his right now. There's so many amazing movies, so hard to really decide, but I think Inception has to be my favorite movie, period. My favorite movie, period, is Jurassic Park, I think. I just love it. Love it to death. I think it may be the first movie I ever recall actually seeing in a theater, too. There's one channel I love watching, Scream Slurp, but unfortunately the couple broke up and they took the channel down. Ah, that sucks. Angelina did the originals too, though she does not finish some things. Yeah, I know she stopped doing a lot of TV shows, and she's mostly transitioned to purely movies at this point, unless it's like something crazy that people are begging for, which I get. Doing TV shows is such a commitment. It's a lot easier to just focus in on movies. Just be aware that Begins really shot him into the stratosphere. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. What are your favorite indie films? Clerks. Pretty much every Kevin Smith film. Easy. I guess Midsummer is technically an indie film. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clerks. Those are hands down my favorites. Like the whole Views universe. Weird pick, but I just love those so much. Yeah, I don't even remember going to cinemas as a child often. I think I was there more often than I remember, but I probably not much more even then. My earliest memory was my dad taking me to see Jurassic Park, though I don't remember most of the movie. I remember like the opening, like one of the opening scenes, like obviously with the sand and like Grant and Ellie at the pit, and me just I don't know if we had to leave. I don't know what happened. My dad covered my eyes through all the violent stuff. I don't remember shit. I just remember that moment, and just I kept poking him and being like, where's the dinosaurs? When's the dinosaurs going to come? Like he freaking knew. That's all I remember. I was 5 when the movie came out. And I may have been to a movie before that, but that's the earliest I remember. My favorite movie is Memories of Murder, Parasite's director. I still need to see Parasite. Is A24 still an indie studio? I mean, yeah, I assume so. If so, Everything Everywhere All at Once is my favorite indie film. I would allow that. But I'm gonna have to wrap up now. I think we're caught up on questions and everything. Yeah, everything's in here. So I'm gonna read this last thing, and then I'm gonna get some lunch Well, dinner at this point. The movies I remember going to the cinema scene as a child so far are Madagascar 3, Johnny English 2, Mr. Bean on Vacation, no clue what else, if any, well, before I was old enough to go by myself. Yeah, I know I saw the original Lion King, which I think was 94. So I know I saw Jurassic Park, though I don't remember. I don't have a memory of the most of the experience. I know I was there though. But I wore out that VHS. Yeah, see, A24 is still considered an indie studio by SAG and Writers Group. See, I thought so. Green Mile has been my favorite movie for 11 years. Since I first saw it, literally half of my life. Shadow dropped my age. Take a drink. But more of the thought put into the music nerd, movie nerds, and lover of both, Oppenheimer is slowly taking over the mantle. I can get that. That's just my favorite out of the Nolan films, I would say. I think the first movie I went on my own, well, with a friend, not my parents, was Star Wars Episode 7. That's cool. That's really cool. I don't know what the first movie I saw by myself or just a group of friends was. That I don't know. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Omni. You as well. You, everybody. Have a great weekend. Oh, Laura just came in at the end. We're cutting it close. We're cutting it close. We're closing down. But thanks for stopping in. Hopefully you can make it a little earlier for the next stream. Took last weekend off, but we'll be back next Saturday. So hope to catch you there. But sorry, I got to get going. We're already like 51 minutes past normal close time, but that's not unusual. But another one just got here as well. Sorry guys. Hopefully we can catch you next week. But love you guys. Have fun. Thank you all for showing up and for the support. And I'll talk to you next. Later.